Last time on Square Roots, we ace our finals, change our clothes, tear it up on the dance floor, change our clothes, and fend off our teacher's sexual advances, maintaining appropriate boundaries in a mentor-mentee relationship? Whatever.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Sant.
I'm back, baby!
John Laguna Brandon.
This time on Square Roots, trains!
And Vanessa.
Gravel and grubs, I love to eat my gravel and grubs.
She doing chicken lady?
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chonker at a time. For example, Final Fantasy VIII. A game that's
Great.
a classic because it's a Final Fantasy.
Doesn't fill me with hate. Makes me feel great. I'd give it an 8. I just
Out
run
of
the words
what?
that we already said. That was pretty poor. I'm sorry. I apologize for what I've done on the show.
No.
If you're giving out compliments, I'll take a plate.
That filled
I
me with hate.
encourage you to express yourself through rhyme and rhythm. I think that freestyle rap is great and it's for everyone, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I think freestyle rap in the context of anyone on the show should have air quotes around it.
Yep. That's a good point.
Freestyle rap.
Excuse me?
I think Vanessa's raps all start with "My name is Vanessa and I'm here to say."
Well, my name is Vanessa, and I'm here to say I reject your premise in a negative way. My rapping is amazing. My rapping is fun. Freestyle rap is for everyone.
Freestyle rap.
Vanessa puts the appropriate in appropriation.
So let's see. We introduced the show.
What do we do on this show?
I said all your names. I said what we do.
What do we do?
We
You
play.
already said it.
We
He
play a
says
video
it
game.
every week, and every week Matt's like, "When are you going to say what we do
Nope.
on the show?" He misses
That's
it.
true.
every
It's either
single
Matt or it's
time.
John.
Vanessa
John's
gets
like,
mixed up
what do we do
again.
here?
I
One of
know
the
that we both
guys.
have shaved head and beards.
I
I know that
one of
we're
those guys.
pretty. We look a lot alike.
So I think we should level up now. Let's do the part of the show where we each pick a thing that we did between recordings, and then we'll talk about it. That's what level up is. John, how did you level up?
All right, well,
You know it's going to be interesting when they start with.
I watched, to continue my last week Birch-related level up, where I talked about my conspiracy theory about Anthony and Ashley Birch being the inspiration of the new writers in Borderlands 3. I then watched Mythic Quest, which is one of the writers is Ashley Birch, and also starring Ashley Birch. But
As
it's also
Ashley Birch.
pretty much. It also has it's written, created by 3 people from who did
Is that
Always.
the Rob McElhenney show?
Yes,
Yeah.
3 people from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's got Rob McElhenney, and it's got Charlie Days, one of the creators, although he's not on the show, I don't think. And there's other lady, Megan Gans, who is, I think, is she on the show?
I don't know, but I like her.
She's another writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's a bunch of Always Sunny people. It is a workplace situation comedy that has Danny Pudi as well and some other actors. And it's also co-produced by Ubisoft. So it's about a game studio that makes an MMO. And all the shots of the MMO actually look like a video game. They don't look like... You know how usually when it shows a video game on TV shows, it either looks like Pac-Man or it looks like a Flash
World
cartoon.
of Warcraft. It always looks like World of Warcraft, actually, in like modern like cop dramas, anyway.
I guess I don't. But a lot of times it looks like just Flash animation. In the ones
Yeah.
I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like a real video game. They put time into making it look good. The game studio, I would say, is more realistic than, say, Grandma's Boy, but also
I just watched Grandma's Boy like 2 nights ago.
Oh God, why?
I
It's
don't know.
not a good movie.
It's not.
But the QC department of this giant MMO is 2 girls sitting on a couch, one of whom is Ashley Birch. And yeah, so it's pretty good. I would give it like a sure. You know, if you got time and want to watch something by the Always Sunny people, and there's a joke about DP, which, as Jim knows, is one of my favorite things to make jokes about and puns about.
Jealous much?
And yeah, that's a running theme when I play PUBG with John, is that if there is a DP-28 around, which is a gun you can get in PUBG, if John finds it, he'll say, "Oh, it's a DP. I love DP." Or if I find one, I'll say, "Hey, John, there's a DP-28 here," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love DP."
So there's a good joke about this lady calling a feature DP and going on stream saying how much she loves DP. And yeah, but then like 5 episodes in, there's an episode with Jake Johnson, not Jack Johnson. He's an actor.
Jake Johnson, the guy from New Girl.
Yeah, and Kristen Milioti, who is the mother, spoiler, in How I Met Your Mother. And it's a drama written by, what's his name? McElhenney?
Rob McElhenney? That's how I've always pronounced it.
Yeah, McElhenney,
it's written by his sister, I think. And
interesting.
It's not a comedy. It has none of the same characters as the other sitcom episodes. It is a drama about Jake Johnson and Kristen Milioti and their how their relationship starts with them making an indie game, and it becomes too successful, and the success tears them apart. And it's a really good episode, but it's just sandwiched in the middle of this situation comedy TV show. Which I guess I know that Always Sunny would at least did that with apparently this dance scene, which is amazing. And
the dance scene is incredible from the was it last season?
Yeah,
It was great.
2 seasons ago now, I think.
2 seasons ago, I guess.
and
It's pretty great.
yeah, so they just put this one dramatic, very good episode. I think it's the best episode of the show.
That's crazy.
But, yeah. Also, I have dipped into, I would say, you know, I normally stay away from hard drugs, but I tried.
Wow. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I know.
1980s commercial playlists on YouTube, and those are a hard drug. That is like some intense injected nostalgia. It's almost like a little too much. I don't know if I can. I'm only gonna do it once in a while because it's like disturbs me for days. That like takes me a while to get over the first. You get the high, and then you get the crash after.
That sounds terrible.
You can't orient yourself in space and time, and you're like
Exactly.
come face to face with your own mortality.
Maybe you
And, like-
discover the 4th dimension is love.
Yeah, and also the 4th dimension is that Diet Pepsi commercial where it's Top Gun, and then he flies upside down to pour the Pepsi into his cup.
Oh my God, I remember that.
me
Oh,
too.
shit, John, that just tapped into a part of my brain that I
know.
thought had
Whoa,
shut
whoa,
down
whoa, whoa,
forever.
whoa.
John's trying to
don't-
get us all high on his
No,
supply
I'm just
here.
saying.
I know a light came on that I thought was burnt out forever.
You want to go oh God, he already has a Pepsi in his hand. Jim, no.
Hold on, I gotta put on my flight suit.
Yeah, like
Highway to the Pepsi Zone.
like
Kenny
the first,
Loggins.
the first one I watched was an hour long, and
What?
it every 5 minutes had like an end of the show bumper from the show called The Highwayman, which was like a 1 hour shitty crime drama from the 80s. And I remember those end credits because it would come on. That was a show on before Amazing Stories on NBC. And I would watch those credits like vibrating because Amazing Stories was my favorite show on TV. And it just made me remember watching those in such a vivid way, and those like shitty American commercials from the 1980s, and like the crass commercialization, and just how like confident and like all bathed in American exceptionalism and mythology, and you can get lost. It's a heavy drug, man. I'm just saying, do a little bit. If you try it, but like make sure you're in a safe place and you have friends around, because you can get lost in that and not come back.
Wow. Now I kind of want to find out like what show had its end credits before The Simpsons started when I was like in junior high.
Yeah.
Because like I would come home and watch The Simpsons, but I bet I never watched the show before it. I bet if I heard those end credits and heard some commercials, that would be pretty crazy.
No, I don't endorse any of this. Stay off YouTube. Stay at home. Just watch, your cable television. Get that package where you have to watch TV, like, because they won't give you internet without giving you cable, and just keep it contemporary.
Can I tell you guys, I got a 30-day free trial to YouTube Premium. And YouTube Premium, I don't think I'm going back, man.
Dude, I don't. That's all I do, because I like my ASMR videos, and I don't want some loud, crappy commercial interrupting my ASMR videos.
Yeah, man, it's I can't imagine watching an ad anymore.
I've been watching
download
a lot of
Crontendo.
YouTube too.
It's worth it, I think.
I don't know.
And Vanessa,
Plus, you get
try.
YouTube Music too, which you can use if you want.
Vanessa, I got a link. It's for free. I'll give you a link to this 1980s commercial playlist. Just try one.
No,
I'll give you that to you.
no, I just told you I won't. He's pushing his drugs on me. Look at
pushing his
this.
drugs on you. This is disturbing.
And he's like, "Oh, I got
Yeah,
a
I
link.
know.
The first one's free.
monkey's on his back."
Just try it, and then if you need another link, hit me up, and for the right price, I can
First
give you
hit's
one."
free.
Listen, the voices said if 3 of my friends do this, then I'll get access to another video.
No.
Vanessa, so how did you level up?
It's been a while since we've talked
Been a
about it.
while.
And it's not right. It's not right to neglect something that is a important topic to all of us here at Square Roots, and to all of you longtime listeners as well. But everyone's got Catherine Hahn fever. She is a co-star on WandaVision. People love her, and what's not to love? I myself knew I knew her from something. I was racking my mind, and I can't believe that it took me this long to figure it out. She was, of course, a regular player on Crossing Jordan, Square Roots' favorite TV show.
With Steve Valentine?
With Steve Valentine. That's right.
Vanessa told me this yesterday when we were playing PUBG, and I didn't understand the significance of what she was telling me at all. I was like, "What's okay?"
I've
Crossing
talked
Jordan.
about
Is that the
Crossing
one with
Jordan
Cagney
so much
or
on this
Lacey?
show.
Jim, that's the favorite show of the podcast. Not
Is
the
it?
official show of the podcast, which is, of course, MTV's The Challenge.
No, but it is the favorite show of the podcast. Crossing Jordan, which was on in the early 2000s. It's a show about a ragtag group of coroners working in the coroner's office, solving
Yikes.
crimes, and doing other things. Also featured, of course, Jerry O'Connell.
Ooh,
And,
love some Jerry O'Connell.
Do you?
What else?
Yeah, Sliders?
Steve Valentine?
Steve Valentine, of course, who we've
That's
already
Sliders.
discussed.
I
But
was
why
mixing
not
it
bring
up
him up again?
with Judging Amy. That
It's
was the show. I
not
was...
Judging Amy, and
Right.
I don't.
it's
I don't
not
think, I don't
Saving
think these
Grace.
shows exist.
It's
right?
not-
Jim, back me up.
They don't.
They don't. Saving Jordan, Charles in charge, whatever
It's
the fuck
not
it's
Crossing Lines,
fake.
and it's not Miller's Crossing. It is Crossing Jordan with Jill Hennessy,
MTV's The Challenge.
the late great Miguel Ferrer,
I thought she was going to say Gates McFadden.
Ravi Kapoor.
Miguel Ferrer died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Well, Crossing
okay.
Jordan was on the air, I believe.
What? No, that long ago? Wow.
Ivan Sergey.
Was he watching Crossing Jordan?
Yeah, killed him. and
He crossed over.
and of course, Catherine Hahn.
He crossed Jordan.
So everyone knows that Crossing Jordan is my all-time favorite TV show. I have seen every episode. Could I describe even a single episode to you? No, because that's how good it is. It just, like, it goes in your head and you can't even comprehend what you're seeing, so it goes right out again. That's why it's a perennial show. Watch
That's
it
the
every
opposite
year.
of 1980s
A millennial
TV
show?
commercials.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it's the kind of drug where you wake up like 2 weeks later and you're like, what did I watch? And you don't know. And you look at the actress next to you and it's Catherine Hahn and you're like, what do I know you from? And she's like, I don't know. And, you know.
This is crazy because Catherine Hahn is, of course, one of the funniest cast members in my Square Root's favorite movie, Step Brothers.
That's true. She humps John C. Reilly in the bathroom.
Everything she does in that movie is a goddamn delight.
Yeah, and then she pisses in the sink.
And she
I
pisses in the
do have that movie on Blu-ray, so we can all watch it later.
Yeah.
I
We
would
should
love to.
have an
I would
Amazon
love-
watch party
I would
where we all
love
watch the movie
that.
together.
Can we do that now? Actually, can we stop recording?
Stop the recording. We're going to
We'll
watch
turn
Step
it into
Brothers and we'll
a
come back.
commentary podcast. So we'll all
Yeah.
watch
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay, now press play on your Step Brothers DVD right now.
We got 1, 2, 3. Play on 3.
Yeah,
I have never seen Step Brothers.
That's crazy.
What?
I
That's
get
like
it.
it.
Crazy.
It was like after I think Will Ferrell had hit, like he had a couple stinkers in there, I think. Right?
He had a lot of stinkers
I
in there.
definitely can see Vanessa not having bothered to watch. I mean, you saw Anchorman, of course, and
Yes,
like
I did.
Ricky Bobby, Talladega
I liked
Nights.
it
I
better
did
than
not see
Anchorman.
Ricky Bobby Talladega
Ooh,
Nights.
Talladega
So they
Nights
did
is
Ricky
so
Bobby,
good.
and then they're like, man, they just need a movie where John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell can just riff the entire movie.
Yep.
And that's what Step Brothers is,
But it works
where
so
they're
well.
just like riffing the entire thing, being man-children, and it's fucking hilarious.
It's pure nonsense in a way that the other Will Ferrell stuff kind of wouldn't be. They always
Yeah.
tried to. It reminds me of who's the other guy from that era? It was the director that made a bunch
Todd
of movies.
Phillips?
40-Year-Old
Martin
Virgin
Scorsese.
And, anyway, they all tried to have like the
guess Todd
traditional
Phillips
story
did
structure,
Joker.
whereas Step Brothers is just pure nonsense.
Oh, you're thinking of Adam McKay.
Yes, I am.
The
Thank you.
director.
Great job.
Adam McKay is still doing like prestige dramas.
Yeah, they're not good though. It's not good stuff. It's bad.
I haven't seen a one of them.
Yeah, they're not good. seen them all.
Anyway,
Sorry, Vanessa.
Sorry.
I, of course, went on the YouTubes to refresh my memory about what Catherine Hahn did in the aforementioned Crossing Jordan. And I found that the cast of Crossing Jordan, like many casts of recent TV shows, has done a Zoom reunion.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it just
Zoom
went up
reunion.
a couple months ago. So if you want to see all of your Crossing Jordan favorites talk about their special Crossing Jordan memories, go on YouTube. I watched some of it. It was a strange show, and they sort of talked about it a little bit in the reunion of how the network wanted it to be like a crime procedural, but they wanted it to be like a quirky Northern Exposure character kind of show, and it ended up being something in between both of those, and it kind of goes back and forth. Like you can see when the network had more influence and when they had more influence, and I think it was on for like 7 seasons, but they kept trying to cancel it, so it like was one of those shows that moved to a new night all the time. And people loved it though. I
That's
loved
a
it.
death knell for TV shows.
Wait,
Not
did-
this one. Can't Kill Crossing Jordan. Jim, how did you level up?
So if you are a scholar of the old lore of the Square Roots podcast, you will know that near the inception of this podcast, Matt and I tried a second show where we played like new release games and did it was like a review type format. We do it every now and then on the Patreon. It's called Instant Classic, where we will play a game, determine whether it's an instant classic or not. One of these games that we played was Resident Evil 7.
That game was
And
great.
Yeah, it was, and I was too scared to finish it. I could not finish it. I was too scared. It kind of traumatized me because I felt like it was way difficult. It was always
Really?
making me
I
scared.
remember finishing that game.
It made my heart race. I did not finish it. I probably pretended that I did, but I actually did not.
Wow.
And I
Watched a YouTube video.
I was always too scared to revisit it until recently when I saw it on Xbox Game Pass. And in the intervening years, it's been 3 or 4, I've watched a lot of speedruns. And one of the speedruns that I really like to watch is one of Resident Evil 7. So I feel like I was familiar enough with the game to not be taken by surprise by any of the surprise violence or gore. So I played it, and yesterday I finally beat it, which was like...
Hey, congratulations.
like a load off my mind. Can finally say that I beat Resident Evil 7. I got through it. I didn't get too scared. I played on easy, but who cares?
I was really happy to support Jim through his journey by only sending a few quotes from a Hard Times article about a little baby boy who had to watch playthroughs of games before he played them so he wouldn't get too scared.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I like watching horror movies. I like being scared, but video games are kind of a different thing. Because I'm having to react to to what's going on. It's like another level, and for a lot of scary games, it's like too much for me. It's like sensory overload.
Oh, I totally
So,
agree. Games are way scarier than movies.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Because you feel like you are that, like you're controlling that person. You feel like you are that person. It feels more, the threat feels more real than watching a movie. Those games, and Resident Evil 7 is a good example of the amnesia games. A lot of that's, all these first person, I struggled with Resident Evil 7. That fucking first 2 hours is.
Yeah, the first half of that game is just like intense.
Yeah.
It's the second half is definitely not. You can cruise through the second half of the game. It's like a first-person action game, but the first half is gory and intense, and it's great at a lot of stuff is scripted, but it's great at making you feel like immersed in everything that's going on, like running from the dad throughout the house, and the way that they put all these different scenarios in there for your character to get caught but eventually recover. It's just very well written and very well executed. I love that they went to first person. It's very immersive.
Yeah.
It's just a fun game to play. I started doing a second playthrough just earlier today, actually.
So you're getting pumped for Village then.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for Village. And the characters are great. So I'm glad they brought Ethan Winters back as a protagonist for 8.
Are they?
He's great. Yeah, he's a protagonist in 8 too.
Yeah, that's who Lady Volodymyrescu's like.
Demetrescu, right?
I found you, Ethan
That's less fun
Winters.
for me. It's more fun when the character has no idea what's going on and is scared by it, because it's less believable the second time around, where you want to be
I think it's less believable that just some random dude can do it. You know what I mean?
But that's the game.
I don't know. But I'm very excited for that. I'm in Resident Evil mode now. I kind of want to do the remakes. I want to play the Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 remakes now.
I want to play The Evil Within for scare roots, but I also don't have time to play extra games right now.
Man, John, it's really funny because I own The Evil Within, and I on a YouTube playlist the other day, the theme soundtrack, big orchestral pop music song from The Evil Within 2 that played in the trailers came up on one of my YouTube playlists, and I was like, man, I kind of want to play Evil Within 2 now. It's still $50 on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, it's still incredibly expensive. That game should be $7 now.
Well, I bet you could go to a GameStop or something. But then
it's
actually,
definitely at a GameStop.
I haven't put a physical disc into my Xbox Series X, and I never will.
Really? I did. Are they bigger? What's the problem with the disc?
It must remain pristine. He wants a Virgin Series X.
Yes.
Who hasn't leveled up yet? Matt. How did you level up?
Always last.
Aww.
Hey, did I talk about the X-Men anime?
No.
I know you talked about it on PUBG.
You talked about the Grand Dimension stuff last time.
Grand Design.
Sure.
I wish that I could buy that on Amazon and ship it to you like I could for these two, because I would. It's a real bummer how Canada sucks. Hey, you know how I leveled up? I watched a great show on Netflix.
What's it called?
What was it?
I don't know.
He doesn't know what it's called. What's it about?
God damn it. Vanessa always so picky.
It's called Emily in Paris.
Yes. I watched a show on Netflix called X-Men. That's it. It's X-Men. There's an anime. There's an X-Men anime from like the early 2000s, maybe, or like the mid 2000s. Yeah, like the mid 2000s. That was like a partnership between Marvel and Madhouse, an anime studio in Japan.
How's that theme song go? No. How's it go, Vanessa? Yeah, I saw that anime. That was a good anime.
I like the breakdown.
It's only one season. It's like 12 episodes. There's an X-Men anime, a Wolverine anime, an Iron Man anime, and what's the other one? Oh, a Blade anime, which signed me the fuck up. But it's fun. It is. It's kind of weirdly not great, but like I still am having a lot of fun watching it. Like it's anime X-Men, so it's kind of like even not very good. I'm still like, hey, shoot your stupid optic blast, Cyclops. Like it's fun.
Has it got Gambit in it?
It does not. It has Cyclops. It has Storm. It has Beast, Kitty Cat Beast, not.
Oh, cool! Not like Wolfman Beast.
No, not Wolfman Beast. Kitty Cat Beast. It has.
Ooh, can I ask John a question really quick? John, who's the hotter beast, Kelsey Grammer or the new what's his face?
I haven't seen the new What's His Face, but he's got to be sexier than Kelsey Grammer.
No, it's what's his name? It's an actor. He's in Fury Road.
It's Nick something, right?
He's in Fury Road, and he's in
He's
a
in
bunch
lots of things. Yeah,
It's Nick something.
Nick something.
Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt is more of a Vanessa boyfriend. He's got floppy hair.
Is Nicholas Holt as Beast?
No, I like original '60s Beast a
with
lot.
His big old feet hanging out.
Anyway, this has gone on for a long time.
It really has. But fortunately, it's a short chunker. Unfortunately, it's like 3 action-packed anime episodes worth of content.
John, I don't know how we managed to write this much notes about this small of a chunker, but
there's a lot that it's a small chunker, but it's 3 anime episodes worth of content.
I think that we are safe to say that it's time for us to talk about the quest log. I actually do a quick kickoff for us and talk to John about how much I appreciate him posting that excellent guide about how to make your stupid character stupid strong. Because it's such a delight having like end game health and attacks super early in the game. Even with the power of Andraste, I was getting very annoyed with how long battles were taking. So I went and followed what I like to call John's guide. Because I think he wrote it.
Well, you mean Owen's guide.
Owen's guide.
Yeah. I feel like I only did like just enough of this to make it more convenient, but not optimally. So I'm looking forward to John explaining exactly what he's done, because I know he spent some time on this.
Is that the plan, John? Are you going to describe the whole... Do you want to do that?
I was hoping that he would. But we can get to it, I guess. But like, we should probably open with where we left off last time. Which is we have done the seed field exam. We've done the seed field exam. We are now official seed members. Mm-hmm. We all have great ranks, which earn us a salary every. I don't know, how long is it?
10 minutes.
An hour?
I think it's connected to how far you travel. So like the number of steps.
I thought it was connected to how much time passed.
No, that's too difficult for a game like this to comprehend.
It has a game clock.
Yeah, but then you could be changing the time and like cheating it and things like that.
Oh,
it's connected to footsteps. Trust.
Okay. And now we are about to be sent on our very first mission as official seeds.
Mm-hmm. Seeds.
So yeah, you first you have to make sure you've changed clothes.
Yep.
That's very important.
I like how the game makes you change clothes.
Well,
You
that
do
was
like
last
that.
episode. This is the trains episode.
Oh,
Last episode
I love the
was
trains. This episode's great.
Everybody loves trains. Everybody loves
This
trains, and
episode's
everybody
great.
loves really long cutscenes of model trains.
Last episode, 3 of us were real down on this game, and 1 of us was positive. But I have to tell you guys that if after the trains episode, you're not all in on this game, you're monsters.
Who was the positive one last time? Was it
Me.
you?
Because this game's great.
Okay.
I'm now that I've broken the game as per Owen's guide. I like it a lot better because I'm not
John
worried
had
about playing
to
it
destroy
wrong.
it in order to love it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's so sad.
Wah, wah.
Owen's guide is great. Is that what we're
What?
talking about
Okay,
now?
I'll tell you what Owen's guide involves. It involves first getting this magical lamp from Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
And
Did you guys immediately be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see what's up with it. I'm gonna fuck with this lamp,"
Yeah, I did
even
it.
though the guy was like, "Maybe wait a while."
Yeah, maybe save your game
Yeah,
before.
he's like,
Yeah.
save your game, and only someone who's super strong should fuck with this lamp.
With
I
the
was
power
like,
of
I'm
draw,
fucking with
say,
it.
you didn't have to be super strong at all. You could just take for
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If you cast blind on the magic lamp genie, which is Diablos, which is a summon,
Diablo.
it cannot kill you.
Excuse me.
All the spells it does, are like forms of demi or gravity. They will
Oh,
just
right, yeah.
do percentages of your health. As long as he cannot physically attack you, and he's susceptible to blind, he cannot kill you. You can do this as soon as you get it.
Oh, he can just keep whittling it down to half to half to half to
Yeah,
half
exactly.
to half.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Excuse
Amazing
me.
how you can half someone infinitely and never sap all their health.
You know,
Here's
John,
the
that's
thing.
like stuff like this is why I find like RPG speedruns interesting because they're able to like take all this into account in their strats. Like I find like manipulating the game in that
They're
way.
rarely
is
as cut
fun.
and dry as this, though. Like, this is built into the game, where a lot of the times they're like, in speedruns, they're utilizing like weird glitches or like weird code.
Yeah,
and
I don't
this,
like
it's
the-
just built in. This is the game.
I don't get down on the glitch ones, but this is an exploit.
Well,
so
at this point, I had to like, mess around with the game RNG to do something.
Ooh, yeah,
I
see,
followed a
that's
guide
interesting.
with that shit, but that wasn't for superpowering everyone. That was for getting a card game rule
Yeah, that was
out
triple
of a
triad.
city.
Those card games were so annoying. Here's the thing. You incorrectly referred to them as summons, sir. They are GFs. These are your girlfriends.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. When you get your first mission,
When
which,
you get your
is
Diablo's
from-
girlfriend.
and Robin Williams gives you the lamp, and you fight the genie, which is Diablos, your first your fourth girlfriend,
Yeah,
fifth
like your fourth or
girlfriend.
fifth girlfriend.
fourth.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like you kind of know what's going on, and like you're a lot more mature. You're not so insecure about her or you, and you kind of treat each other like peers instead of like someone put on a pedestal. All
Sure.
right, maybe this joke did not land, but
No, I get it. We've all grown through our
Too
relationship.
real, John.
Have
Too real.
I've
so
never
then
had a girlfriend, and I don't want one. Thank you very much.
you gotta work on card abilities with or like the ability item refining and card refining abilities.
Some of your
on
girlfriends
Diablos and
have
sirens.
Some of your girlfriends have abilities that you have to fight in battles to get, because you get like girlfriend points at the end of every battle.
This
Yes.
is
Yeah, that's
how
why you
you
have
level
multiple
up.
girlfriends, so you can junction one girlfriend to your strength stat, junction another girlfriend to your vitality stat.
Well, some girlfriends will junction to multiple stats, but you can fill in the missing stats with another girlfriend on the side.
Those
So
are the
what it
ones
all
you
comes
really
down to
grind
is
with.
you can go out to this beach area and grind, but you never want to kill the enemies because you don't want to level up. So you use this card ability to get whatever. It doesn't matter. But you go to the beach and grind to get these girlfriend points. And then
I did it in the Jurassic Park area.
Once you've done it for about an hour, you get enough... you have enough abilities with these girlfriends that you can start turning things like cards that you win from the card game into items, which then you can turn into spells, which then you can junction to your stat. Because this silly game, instead of having MP and like you have Curaga, you use 8 MP to use it. This game has every spell as an item, basically. So
every spell is a consumable that you can also junction to your abilities to superpower them. And so basically, I think the main thing is you get the Quistis card from the guy in the hot dog room. Which is called
the hot dog room.
Cafeteria, the hot dog room.
It did force me to play some triple triad, which I had not intended to do, and I have to admit, though, I was a little frustrating. Sometimes the card did not, particularly getting the Zell card, it did not always pop up, and I had to do like 5 or 6 card battles to get it. But the card game's not that bad. It's kind of.
I've been following the jeg.com, the kind of problematic walkthrough.
John, I just want to tell you really quick. I think referring to a cafeteria as a hot dog room is something that I am never going to be able to stop saying. So thank you for bringing that into my lexicon.
You get the Zell card and the Quistis card. You refine them into items, and you refine those items with another ability into magic. And is it the Cypher card?
The Cypher card you turn into Diamond Armors, which you turn into Cottages, which you turn into Curagas.
And you can junction the Curaga to your strength stat?
You junction the Curaga to your HP. Your HP stat, and you have
your HP?
2,000 to 2,500 HP on your character.
Wow.
And then,
is it the Quistis card that you turn into Diamond Armors that you then refine?
Cypher.
Oh, and then you find those
you turn
strength
into
plus
Samantha's
60
soul, and that you turn into something, and that you turn into triples, which you can get 100 of and attach to your strength stat, and that gives you basically one hit every boss strength. Listen, I have to say this
is pretty amazing.
Initially, I was like, the power of Andraste will see me through this. But after doing some of the bosses, I was like, wow, they take a long time, even with the power of Andraste, because your character's so weak. But you spend an hour doing this, and suddenly you're doing 2,000 fucking damage, and it's hilarious. I one-hit every boss in this run, and it made me laugh so hard.
It needs to hold 3 people. I need a locker for 3 adult men.
And 2 of them are pretty chunky, and one of them's real tall.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make sure that they all
Puck,
fit in.
Colossus, and the Blob.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, lady. Are they talking about RPG game mechanics?
They are. And I mean, they're going on, and they're talking about...
I can't remember the last time an RPG mechanic was this interesting and, exploitable this
Chrono
early,
had
though.
several super interesting mechanics.
Chrono Cross, yes.
Yeah, now they're saying it's interesting. Yeah.
Though I do want to, while she's making the phone call to put it in the locker, I want to say that John pointed out once in the chat something I thought was very true, which is part of the problem with this game.
Maybe one of those storage pods?
Some of this stuff
That's
is so
a great
buried
idea. If
in
it
the
could just
menus
come to the door, I could load them up, and then you take them away.
Oh, I said that last time. Yeah, this game is way too menu-y. Way too menu-y. There's sub-menus on sub-menus on sub-menus.
For an extra $20 a month, I can put in a little
take us through the fucking
hole
plot
where
of
you can
this
put
chugger.
food in.
We're in
It's
an
not
hour into this.
necessary. No, it's fine. Just as is.
Let's see. Where do we leave off?
Oh, I should also mention, I was following this walkthrough, and it started telling me to start messing with the Queen of Cards, and then doing all this other random rule changes, and using I had to hard reset the game in order to reset the RNG, but I did it, and damn it, I like triple triad now, and I feel dirty.
What?
I mean, I did a little save scumming with triple triad. Who hasn't?
But it's in order to get to remove the random rule from the world, you have to go into this hotel, save, quit the game,
What?
reload your save, walk out of the hotel, walk back in, talk to this lady twice or 3 times.
Can we get a dump truck?
Denying that
That's also
you
very
want
interesting.
to merge the rules of Balam and Dalit.
I wish I had a backpack full of beers.
Anyway, so Robin Williams is like, hey, I've got this mission, and it's a very special mission. We aren't sending a whole seed army. We're just sending you 3. And you're going to go to Timber, and you're going to go help out the Timber resistance there. At the train station, you'll meet a contact, and the contact will say, the forests of Timber sure have changed, to which you will reply, what, Vanessa?
But the owls are still around.
The chocobos are all gone, is what Matthew said.
The moogles are still here.
No, it's the owls.
Correct. I know. There's 3 choices. One is moogles, one is chocobos, and one is owls.
This gave me mixed feelings because I'm very happy that there are chocobos and moogles in this world, but I'm very upset that I have not seen either.
Well, Vanessa, you can actually get the Minimog card from someone.
A card? I'm talking about real flesh and bone chocobos and moogles. One is feathery soft, one is furry cuddles, and I want them both.
Are they in the game?
Well, there's a Minimog card.
I haven't seen them yet. If they're not in the game at all, I'm going to be very upset. Don't tell
It's gonna be
me.
a real Final
Don't tell
Fantasy
me there are
15 situation.
unicorns in your magical world, and then never show me a unicorn.
That's a good point.
Well,
Chekhov's unicorn. That's what that is.
but they talk about all the different greens that you feed chocobos, except they're making alcohol now.
Chocobos are making alcohol?
No, the greens bring your girlfriends back to life and heal your girlfriends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it when we get there. So you go to Balam, which is the seaside town where Zell lives, and you get on a train because this chunker is mad about trains.
Mad about trains.
It's train crazy.
Mad about trains.
On the train, Zell and Selfie are so excited to be on a transcontinental railroad. They get a private cabin. It's so luxurious.
Sophie's like by the window doing a little dance. She loves trains so much.
Mm-hmm. Trains, trains, trains.
Yeah, she
Everyone
has a
loves
train
trains.
song.
She has a train song. It's
Oh, she does. I forgot to write it
super
down.
fun. Oh, it's like trains are coming,
like-
trains are
it's
going,
like-
put trains in my
It's like,
butt.
where is it going?
train,
Nobody
take us
knows.
away.
But also, you really do know
It's
where
like,
your train
hey,
is going.
soul sister, ain't you gonna...
I just
Thank you,
imagined
Jen.
Vanessa
Thank you,
coming
Jen.
up with a whole tune for Selfie's train song as I played this.
Yeah, I would have,
T-
but I didn't.
But then Matt sang Soul Sister, and Vanessa was like, that's all I can think about now.
Now I'm thinking about Darren Chris, actually, and some listeners will pick up on why. If you know why, write into riddles@squarerootspod.
That's not an email
Is that the
address.
sexy snake from Mass Effect 2? Is that your snake boyfriend?
Darren
So-
Chris, yes.
Yes. So then you go inside, Vanessa. This cabin is luxurious.
It's amazing. It has a couch. It has bunk beds.
It has like Star Trek screens on the walls.
It has a magazine.
Yeah, Pet Pals Volume 1. Mm-hmm. We don't have a pet, so that was kind of a weird magazine to get.
What did
No,
you
I
name your
picked it up
pet?
anyway. I don't
Oh,
have
later.
one.
I
That's
named my
later.
doggo.
So at this point, Zell is like, hey, do you know all about Timber? And you can be like, yeah, I know. Or you can be like, no, tell me about Timber. And he's like, oh, Timber was invaded by Galbadia 20
and?
years ago. There's lots of resistance factions. And
And
just telling you about this just makes me a sleepy boy.
Timber has a Shonen Jump office, gang. Can somebody
Yeah, it
explain
sure
that to me?
does.
Yeah.
Well, that T, what's it called? T Manny. We'll talk about T Manny later because Selfie comes in and then immediately falls asleep on the floor.
yeah, she's
and there's like a comfortable
I'm
bed.
sleepy. and she just goes to sleep. I think she falls asleep on the couch. I hate to be a nagging Nancy, but that's where she falls asleep.
And then Zell falls asleep, and then finally Squall falls asleep, and you wake up in what I assume to be... You know, I'm always wrong about this.
The witch is over
but
you
this
going,
is...
puppies.
I just assumed that you wake up in the body of a Vanessa boyfriend.
No, you're not in the body because you can see that they're like Squall the whole time is going like, yeah, what is this? What's happening?
But because
he's not controlling it.
No. They are. Selfie's inside the big guy. Zell is inside the guy with the blade hands.
That is not my reading of that situation at
That's
all.
how because okay.
But they're talking about like, don't you want to?
These are things that
you've
already
been coming here for
happened.
weeks, Laguna. Don't you want to kiss? Don't you want to go talk to that girl?
Yeah,
like that's not.
But you can sometimes like Laguna can speak as Squall in one choice. Okay, so you wake up.
No, you're picking, but like I know you're not picking for him.
I think it's like, what do you think, Vanessa? Are you controlling them or are they watching them?
I think it's a mix of both. I think that you're in them, but you're not controlling them.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Well, but that's...
You said you picked.
Yeah.
You said
what does that mean?
You thought we were controlling
that's
them.
Not
you
a
said that.
both. If you're in them but not controlling them, then you're just watching, which is what.
Yeah, but you're
Well,
watching from like inside their body.
You can watch from outside because they try sometimes to like break through and say things, but I don't think it really works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Laguna's his own full person, but Squall is also in there.
Yeah.
I will say
like,
that in this chunker, I did not consider Laguna to be a Vanessa boyfriend. However, in like a future chunker that we're gonna play, I started to catch feels. Started to catch feels for that Laguna. I think he might be my kind of guy.
How far ahead is Vanessa?
I don't know.
Vanessa, did you already beat the game?
No.
She did.
No.
She 100% did.
I didn't.
She's saying that no pretty long.
No.
See, that's a long no, and the longer Vanessa holds a no, the less truthful she's being. So, Vanessa, why don't you tell us about this? So, is this a dream? Is this an alternate reality? What is happening?
So what is happening? Well, we don't know. We see our three new characters: Laguna, Ward, and Other. And
Heroes. Don't call the black guy Other.
I'm not trying to other him. I'm just saying I didn't remember his name. I also did not know that he was black. So that's some good news. Nice to see a little diversity in a Final Fantasy game. So they are soldiers of the, let's say, Gamdian army.
Galbadian.
Galbadia.
Right, on. Sure. So they're walking around. They got stuff to do, and as they walk around, you sort of see like the thought boxes of our three sleeping heroes, and they're like, "What is this? Where are we? Who is this?" Laguna is
one
hot.
just says dream.
Yeah, dream. Someone says that Laguna is very attractive. We don't actually have names attached to which characters are thinking what. So I believe that it's Squall who is thinking about how attractive that Laguna is. And I think that explains a lot of Squall's behavior throughout the game if we consider him to be not straight. So think about it. Think about it. You know, he purposely distances himself from his peers. He doesn't believe that you should talk about your problems or like share your thoughts.
He tries to pretend he can't dance, and then is like,
he can tear it up. He's like, actually,
I can
girl,
actually tear it up.
He pretends to be completely oblivious to the fact that Quistis is coming on to him. Yeah.
He's got a special relationship with a guy who
he loves Cypher. Like he thinks about him all the time. Yeah. Think it over. So, welcome to our queer reading of Final Fantasy VIII.
We should now talking about Vanessa boyfriends. There is a Johnny boyfriend here, and his name is Ward.
Yeah, he's heckin' big.
He's big. He's got the dumb fat guy walking animation that I love that Wedge has in Final Fantasy VII.
It's like very over exaggerated. They're kind of leaning back a little bit.
Yeah, he's like his arms are flailing.
Yeah.
Wedge has the exact same walk, and I love it in Final Fantasy. He kind of, even in Remake, Wedge still kind of has it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But it's great, and I love it. And his weapon. So what I like, not only are they completely different characters, they have their own battle music. Which is amazing. They have their own weapons. Like Laguna has like automatic gun, like a regular gun, not a sword gun, like an MP5.
They all have awesome like limit breaks.
Yeah, Kira's has sword hands, and Ward has a big anchor. And so this is you find out it's in the past because they're just invading Galbadia. Or no, Galbadia's just in
Esther.
I'm not sure that it is in the past.
Dalit.
How do we know it's in the past?
Timber.
Esther.
Timber.
Well,
they're invading Timber.
They're not invading Timber. Laguna's not.
Oh, maybe we don't know. Do we know whether it's the past?
You don't. You find out at the end of the chunker they're fighting the Esther soldiers, right?
Well, they fight. They are the Galbadians. They talk about how they're invading Timber.
Don't they talk about how the president got kidnapped in the second one?
Maybe
Estar.
It's unclear. Let's say.
Okay.
It's unexplained up to this point.
Yeah, because and it's which is good because our characters don't understand what's going on. Laguna immediately becomes like 18 times more interesting than Squall because first of all he like has friends that he cares about and he has desires to do different things. He's a little bit cocky. He does seem to get lost a lot. But they arrive in town and they're like, I guess it's time to do our duty. And he's like, yeah, it's time to go to the bar. And they're like, So they head over.
It's super weird because you have these fun characters who like each other and have personalities compared to the first chunker.
It makes me think that perhaps these are the real characters and everything else is a dream.
So this is the first real character of the game? Is what you're saying?
The first real protagonist of the game.
Yes.
Laguna.
What a switch.
Yeah, it is.
So I assume, based on this chunker, that the rest of the game is just going back and forth between these two realities, one with Laguna, Heroes and Ward, and the other with Selfie, Zell, and Squall.
That would make sense.
And it's like this crazy time travel or reality switching game, and the rest of the game is going to be like this because you keep switching back and forth.
That could be super cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. That
haven't
sounds like a
played it.
David Cage game, kind of.
I love it.
So Laguna has a crush on a pianist, but has been too shy to approach the pianist.
The
He's
piano
creeping
lady?
on. He's creeping on her. He's creeping on her.
Yeah.
And so he wants to go to this town called Dalit, and Ward's like, but aren't we going to go fight a war against the Timber Army? He's like, yeah, but I got lost. Oops, we're here. And don't call her piano lady.
Yeah. So they go to the piano bar. His friends are actually pretty supportive. They're like, okay, we're here. You know, she's playing her piano tonight. The bar's pretty empty. Now is your opportunity to approach her, you know, just like tell her how much you appreciate her singing and her, I guess she doesn't sing. She just plays the piano. How much you appreciate her music. And so he musters his courage. He heads towards the stage. And then I guess he gets a Charlie horse because he's like, nah, my leg. And
it seems like a psychosomatic Charlie horse where it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
and
this whole thing is very strange to me because he's definitely creeping on her. Like he's showing up at her work all the time, like, and according to her, just smiling the entire time,
She's
which is fucking terrifying.
You
I don't know, man.
It's just work.
And smile.
It still feels weird. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he's very awkward about it. He does get a leg cramp going up there. This leg cramp thing was pretty funny because he kind of hobbles back to the booth.
5 minutes while he wanders in circles in front of her.
He's like,
he was going to go talk to her.
Then he goes back and he sits down and they're like, oh, better luck next time. But then who should approach his table but his lady love herself?
Well, and it seems like his friends know she's coming because they do the cool wingman thing of disappearing right before she
They're
gets
like,
there.
oh, let's go get a drink. And then he turns around and he's like, ba-da, 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 ba-da. And she's like, hey, how about you come up to my room and we can talk? And he's like, ba-da, 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 ba-da. Okay.
She invites you to her hotel room. He's getting to the bone zone.
Well, and she gets him drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she basically you should drink so you're not so awkward.
I was
but
it
the friends mentioned before he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
This whole time I was
Do they?
thinking that she has got to be like some kind of spy, right? Like bring
Yeah,
the
that's what I
enemy
thought.
soldier up to your room. But no, she seems to be genuinely into him. He talks about his hopes and dreams. He wants to see the world. And that's why he joined the army, so he could travel around and see the world. And then
He wants to be a journalist. That's his goal.
yeah, and write about the things that he encounters in his travels. And she's like, well, since you've been so open with me, my dream is to write my own music. And he's like, oh my gosh, I have to hear it. And she's like, that would make me really happy, but I haven't been able to. But now that you've shared your vulnerabilities with me, I think I can probably write a song about you. And he's like, oh my goodness.
Well, let's describe these 4 people not real fast. We're not going to go crazy here. We're not going to do a full fashion breakdown.
Polygons.
Laguna, he's slender. He's short.
He's got hair.
Long, luscious black hair.
Yeah, but black hair, dark hair.
And they're all wearing those G Army blue uniforms. So, there's not much to talk about except for Julie's outfit, which we will talk. Julie or Julia? Julia. And then there is Kiros. He is a black man who has long hair, and he has sword arms. And Ward is a large, big, burly John. Did
you say large?
Large, yeah. Ward is a big, burly boyfriend with a big chin, no beard though, but he does have a bandana wrapped around his head and a big anchor. And Julie, Julie's outfit's like a night, not a nightgown.
Julia, no, she has an evening dress on. It is like
burgundy.
A burgundy color, except for the torso. It sort of has cups and they're black. And it's very strappy. It has X straps across the chest and then shoulder straps and then also 2 straps that sort of fall down by the arm.
Ooh, it is very and she is. I get the sense that Laguna, Squall, and Julia are more Japanese designed.
Yeah.
Ward looks like a big white guy.
Yeah.
And she is going on. She has as much a thing for Laguna as Laguna has for her.
She definitely does.
It almost seems like Vanessa was saying, she's an evil spy and is going to trap him because she's so into him.
But we're also told that he is very pretty.
Yeah. He is whoever's voice that is says he is the hottest guy in the room. Or something
You're
like
the
that.
best looking guy here.
Yep. And she doesn't, she just I guess they talk for hours because he passes out on the bed and she tells him about how she's going to write a song about his eyes. And she does mention, I don't want to eat them. I just really like them.
Yeah, which is nice. It's a good clarification. Fellas, ladies, if you're going to compliment someone, make sure that you first of all, be in an appropriate situation. You can't just comment someone's appearance willy-nilly. And I'm even talking about comments of oh, you look like you've lost weight. That's not appropriate for the workplace. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but don't bring it up. That's none of your business. So if you're going to compliment, like a particular part of someone, like hey Johnny, I really like your shiny head, but I don't want to eat it. Make sure you add that caveat, or else they'll be thinking, I think this person wants to chow down on my luscious lips. No.
At this point, there is an interruption. Laguna has new orders and must deploy immediately.
No, not when things were going so well.
Yeah, it was Corporal Cockblocker came in just to let him know.
Corporal Cockblocker.
And
now
at this
available
point,
for $5.99.
everyone wakes up on the train, and they're like, and there's a voice on the PA that wakes everyone up that says, "Timber arriving now at Timber. Everyone get ready."
They realize that they've had a shared dream experience, but decide to just ignore it.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, what? Laguna? I dreamt about."
This is infuriating. it's very egregious later when a fourth character is privy to the dream, and you're just like, you know what? It's not going to help anything to talk about it now.
Yeah, like let's not think about it.
I remember very specifically the first time I played this game back in 1998, being like, "What?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, we dreamt about the same person." Oh well.
Oh well. And we were all forced to sleep against our will.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Whatever. We'll think about it later.
We got
we have a job to do.
So you get to Timber, which is like an old, very ornate European style. It's kind of like it's an old city, but it has modern stuff and lots of trains.
It's nice.
Like
the backgrounds in this game are very soft, if you know what I mean. It's like they're sort of blurred at the edges. They look like little watercolor paintings sometimes.
I love the look of the cities. It's not as evocative as Final Fantasy VII, which is really gorgeous, but they're still nice.
Sometimes it's difficult to make out the edges of buildings that you can actually enter. So that's the only thing I'd say about it. And it often does this thing where you like walk into a shop and it just has a pop-up window of like, what do you want to buy? And so you don't actually.
Yeah, which
That's
is
kind
weird.
of a bummer. Well, not a bummer. It's very jarring. And two, the cities they're just not as well designed in this game as they were in Final Fantasy VII. I'm not sure if like there was like a different person in charge of building the locations, but in 7, like, you know, you knew in every town, like, okay, you go to this area and this is where the item shop and the weapon shop and the equipment shop is. But in these, like, especially in that first town that you go to that we covered last episode, where the hell are you going? Like, like I didn't like trying to find the train station to get to where you're going here. Took me like, where are you supposed to go? Like, it's just not they're not very well designed. And I even got lost in this town as well in Timber.
There's a guy that well, at this first point you get to Timber, Watts comes up to you immediately and does say, "Hey, wow, the forests of Timber sure have changed." And you do get did any of you? I think Matt might have chose the wrong answer here, but Matt has disappeared in a puff of smoke.
He did claim that he chose the Moogle answer or something like that.
I get the feeling that he says it's close enough, no matter. But you probably get there's a lot of decisions and things you can do in this game that will give you a seed demotion, and you get less seed points.
We should say, too, that there are things that you can pick in the Laguna flashbacks that affect things later in the game.
Is that so?
Really?
Yeah, in the first Laguna flashback, there's really nothing you can do to mess up your chances of finding anything, but in the second one, there definitely is.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I guessed my way through it every time I've played it before, but this time I've been using a fax. So I'm like, well, let's see what happens this time.
And it's pretty crucial. Like, maybe the best spell in the game is, like, you have to do something with Laguna in this chunker to get in Disc 3.
Whoa.
Really?
Guess who didn't do that? Me.
Me neither. Guess who only found out when he wrote the notes today?
Well, I always feel that my not using a guide is a service to our listeners so they can get different kinds of experiences of playing this game.
That's true. No, I think it's good. I think it sort of shows the different ways you can approach a video game.
Yeah, you can use a guide or you cannot. You can use cheats or you cannot. You can use exploits or you cannot. Whatever you want to do. We're not here to judge.
So this guy is
I don't care what you do with your life.
No, it's Zone. Sorry, you meet Zone. He's the one who tells you the password.
Zone is the diarrhea guy.
Yeah.
Watts is the other guy.
Watts is the guy who's wearing the Marty McFly vest.
Yes.
I thought that Zone maybe just had some anxiety.
I think
I
so
thought it
too.
was diarrhea.
I think it's anxiety because IBS is often exacerbated by stress. Right. So I think that Zone wants to be a hero, but his IBS is giving him reason to not go out onto his in the field.
Yeah,
So
but
you don't think he's faking it?
contribute.
No, I don't think he's faking it. I think that he has diarrhea all the time.
I think he's 100% faking it. Faking it every time.
Diarrhea all the time.
So you get onto this.
It's hard to fake diarrhea. I mean, you can, as long as no one's checking up after you, if you know what I mean, but...
What situation would you be in where someone were to check to see if your diarrhea was
He
genuine?
doesn't run off to the toilet. He just crouches down and goes, "My tummy!"
Due to the design of most houses, most people know when you have diarrhea, even with the fan on. Because they just don't put enough soundproofing into bathrooms in modern houses.
Some of us don't have fans in our bathroom. We just have a little window that you got to crack open.
No.
Oh, wow. I couldn't do that.
I would crank my phone or something. I don't want anyone to hear any sounds. So you meet you meet Zone and Watts. Zone introduces himself to Squall, but Squall does not shake Zone's hand, but Selfie and Zell do. And he's like, "Hey, okay, here's your first assignment. Go wake up the princess," in quotation marks.
Tell us about your experience, John.
Yeah.
Well, I've been using this jeg.com, which I really shouldn't plug, guide, and
You
the
really
guy
should stop plugging it.
bleep it out every time I say
I will.
jeg.com. Using this guide, and this guide's like, "Ugh, why does she have to be a princess? She's not, why does every girl main character in these games have to be better than me? She's just saying,
why do they have to have a special title and be better than everyone else?"
That's sad. I'm sad for that person that wrote that.
I'm sure that whoever wrote that, it's been several years since it was written. I bet they are not of that mindset anymore.
Yeah, that's probably why it's still there.
or they've doubled down on it.
Yep.
Or
It's
they've
one way or the
doubled
other.
down.
Yeah.
Why can't it
Someone
get a
has-
girlfriend?
Either they have realized, hey, it's actually, this game. First of all, she's not a princess. They're just making fun of her.
Yeah.
Two, it's okay for women to be in positions of authority. Or he's gone the other way and was arrested after breaching the White House.
Where did this General Hodo come from? I've never heard of her. And how come she is so great? Why wouldn't they put Poe in charge? Just because
Why
she's
isn't
an
this-
admiral.
Why isn't this movie about the Ghostbusters' sons?
I think the new one is.
I know. That's kind of why I'm
grandsons.
kind of super not interested in that one, actually.
I mean, it's got Paul Rudd in it.
Yeah, I'm interested in basically anything Paul Rudd does.
Also, Ernie Hudson.
Aw.
Jim, take us through it, because
Yeah.
I think we're still on the train, maybe? No, we did Laguna, right?
No, we're off
No,
the train.
we met
meet Ward.
Zone and Watts.
Yeah, they take us immediately to a new train.
Let's
where
get
we
to
have
this
to,
awesome mission.
as Jim said, wake up the princess. We go to wake up the quote-unquote princess, and who is it? So who should it be? None other than the girl who we had our dance with at the seed ball.
At Seed Prom.
At seed prom. And finally, we get a name for her. What did you fellas name this nice new character?
Renoa.
I also named her Renoa, but I did name her dog something different.
Doggo.
I named mine Vanessa.
Aww. Thank you for realizing that I do have a title and am better than you.
What did you name Squall?
Johnny.
Oh, so this game for you is a romance between Johnny and Vanessa.
Well, I wasn't going to say it on the air.
What did you name Zell Matthew or Poochie?
No, I was going to name Zell Matthew.
Actually, I don't think you can name Zell, can you?
No, I don't think you
Do
can
that
name
to me.
Zell. I hope you can name Irvine, because I will name Irvine Matt in a fucking instant.
It's Matto. Thank you.
Yeah, and so she wakes up. She's like, oh my goodness, it's you. Hi. I'm so happy you're here. You're going to help me overthrow the government. And you're like, whatever. And she's like, by the way, I have a dog. The dog appears. And you get to name the dog. John, what did you name your dog?
At first, I typed in Poshul.
Oh, that would have been good.
But I think it was Alex Dillard that was on the stream with me. It was either him or Greg Bailey. It was like, no, you got to come up with something better. So I was like, okay, I'll name him Puff Puff after everyone's favorite Dragon Quest thing. And so now,
excuse me,
Grandia.
You associate Puff Puff with Dragon Quest and not Grandia?
Grandia.
Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
well, you know what? I guess it's also Grandia.
That's Puffy. Puffy was from Grandia, but I mean Puff Puff. They said it all the time in Grandia.
What's
But
the
they all-
Puff Puff
like, Puff
in
Puff-
Dragon Quest?
That's
Oh, the Puff Puff.
well.
Okay.
Dragon
They
Quest.
don't.
Gotcha.
They don't.
It's motorboating. Puff Puff in
It
Dragon
is.
Quest is motorboating. Some
It is, and they keep.
Why did this dog make you think of motorboating?
But the thing is that it's not only motorboating, but half the time, because like the Puff Puff room, a beautiful woman will say, "Do you want a Puff Puff?" And then they turn out the lights, and half the time you find out you've been motorboating either a very fat man or a very muscular man, and I love it. Because they turn it back on, and your face is like in the chest of a fat man or a muscle man.
What?
That's cool.
Can I just
What's
say
happening?
that the dog's name is, the actual name is Angelo? What an awful name for a
I
dog.
think I kept it Angelo.
What's wrong with Angelo? It's
Angelo?
a beautiful name.
Okay.
For a dog?
Yeah,
Giving
you're
dogs
Angelo.
human names is the
Listen to
weirdest
this
thing.
podcast.
And I know that we're going to have listeners write in and tell me what an asshole I am. But
I
don't name your
love
pets
a
human
dog
names.
with a human name. I think it's hilarious.
Bobby!
Like, what's this dog's name? Yeah.
Jonathan!
So what did you...
Jonathan Hill!
Keith, I love that.
Gavin, come here.
Keith.
Jared.
So, Vanessa, what did you name Angelo?
Angelo.
Oh.
I named him Angelo as well.
You guys are boring.
So, Renoa is fine. She doesn't get mad at you for waking you up. And everyone's like, what? She didn't punch you in the balls and tell you had a tiny little boy dick? That's weird. Normally, she's very insulting.
That's very much what I would do if someone woke me up from a nap.
Is punch them in the balls and tell them they have a tiny boy dick?
Yep.
Yep.
That seems like a bit much.
Vanessa does not like being woken up.
I guess Jack is the one who wakes me up from a nap most often, and he does have fuzzy little balls, but I do not punch him in them. And nor have I ever commented on the size of his dick, but let's be honest, he's a cat. It's not big.
It's an innie.
It's an innie. I've never seen it. I'm not even sure it exists. You know, some cats, they have the habit of just like sticking that thing out. Not Jack. He's modest.
Okay, I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. Let's move on.
What happens next? We go to Timber.
So Renoa meets everyone and is real happy to meet them. And she's like, oh, by the way, is Cypher here? Because he's my best friend. I love Cypher. Where's Cypher? Is Cypher coming? Is Cypher on this mission?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no. It's
yeah,
just
she's like, where's Cypher?
three.
Cypher's the one who introduced me to the headmaster, so I could, like, get this mission. She seems like super all about Cypher, which is a little weird because she did tell Squall that he was the best-looking guy at the dance. I guess Cypher didn't
Yeah,
get
but
to
Cypher
go
wasn't
to the dance.
there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to like get friends with him so she'd be like, oh wow, maybe you could bring Cypher along on our date.
Yeah. do you know which room is Cypher's? Like, Cypher lives here, right?
Tell me, what is Cypher like? Like, what does Cypher do for fun? If you're gonna get Cypher a present, what would you get him?
Blade.
So she's like, oh, well, I guess it makes sense. They only sent 3 seeds because this is a special favor from Sid. That's the reason I went to your garden, was to go ask him. He's like, oh, so I guess you only came up to me because you're looking for Sid. She's like, anyway.
What does he care? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about her.
It's mission time, Vanessa. Zone is like, the Forest Owls. We are the Forest Owls. We're a brand new resistance group in
Avalanche was a better
Timber.
name.
We got, I was thinking like, there's a lot of riffs on Final Fantasy VII, but nothing as much as the mission that you're about to do, which is like a very worse version of a Final Fantasy VII thing. But so
I love
we
this.
got this top secret info from Galbadia. Galbadian president Vinzer Dealing is coming, and he is taking a private train. And so guess what we're going to do? And Selfie's like, blow it up with a rocket launcher?
Yes. Makes perfect sense.
And they're like,
everyone is very shocked.
No. And Sophie's like, I love trains. Blow it up.
So they turn to the model train presentation they have in the room,
This is so
and they're like,
fucking crazy.
we are going to replace the president's train car with a dummy car. There are codes. You're going to have to get on top of the train because there are codes to couple and uncouple the car. Let's show you step by step in exhaustive detail
7
how this is going to
steps.
work.
Yeah.
7 steps.
They're like, there are 7 steps. Memorize them all.
Step by step. Ooh, baby. We're
they
going
show
to
you-
kidnap this president.
They
Hey,
show you
girl.
on a model train set that they have exactly what's going to happen. And there's some discussion of how the model train looks super crappy. And
Well, no, most of it looks good except for the one car.
Yeah, the one
president's car.
special president's car. And they're like, oh, yeah, Riona did that. And
They didn't have
Rihanna.
time to paint
Yes,
it or to build it to scale.
Rihanna did it.
her name's
And I got that
Rihanna.
reference. Yes. Jim, I got that reference.
Oh, thank you, John. I was afraid nobody got my Back to the Future joke.
And Rihanna's like, okay, look, I made it look bad on purpose because how bad it is how bad I hate Galbadia. And then Sophie's
everyone's
like,
like,
wow, you must really hate Galbadia because that looks like a child made it. And she's like, well, I hate them a lot. And Zell's like, yeah, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. This looks like garbage.
She's just like,
I'd say this is the first joke in the game that actually made me laugh. It
So-
was pretty good.
Their plan is to. They have built a full-scale reproduction of the president's train car. Their plan is to come up behind the president's train.
Step 1,
Step
get behind the
1.
president's train.
Step 2, get on the roof of president's train.
Step 3.
Uncouple the cars so that president's train car is released, and the rest of the train cars also.
Step 4.
Couple the fake train car where the president's car was.
Step 5.
Uncouple the cars behind the real president's train car.
Step 6.
Recouple them behind the fake president's train car.
No, then you have to uncouple the president's train car.
Well, we've already done that.
But
there's some fucking mini games. Like you do the code punching in a few times.
You have to uncouple. Essentially, we are replacing the president's train car with our fake train car. We are like uncoupling the cars behind it and then recoupling them to the fake one so that the whole train appears to be intact.
Yeah, we're going to swap out the president's car with our fake president's car.
Yeah, and the fake president's car comes complete with a fake president.
Yeah, which is, you could actually optionally go talk to the fake president, and it's like a talking robot. I assume it's like a Hall of Presidents kind of robot with a newspaper, and they're like, wow, it's so lifelike. I'm the president. Stop bugging me. I have a lot to do. Go away.
Yep.
And but one thing you should know is you're going to there's two things actually you have to know. One is you're going to have to input a code. Now, circle is 1, X is 2, square is 3, and triangle is 4. Vanessa, do you get that? Do you get what I'm trying to say here?
It's irritating. It's a 4-digit code.
Okay, no, Vanessa, why don't you? Okay, I'm gonna. The code's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now press it. I just want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. The code is 1, 2, 3, 4, but 1 is X, 2 is 1 is circle, 2 is X, 3 is square, and 4 is triangle. So 1, 2, 3. I want to see you just do it right now. Okay.
Let me see. Circle. X. Square. Triangle.
Great job. Now, I want you to do it again.
Oh.
I just want to make sure.
So I failed this mission the first time because I did not pay attention to all of these instructions, and I did lose very quickly.
I should mention that there are 2 guards. One is blue, and he has a temperature sensor, and the other is red, and he has a sound sensor.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't play this part on 3 times speed like you can in the new releases because when you put in the inputs like a normal human, which like maybe a second between inputs in game time, that's like 30 minutes. So like it gives all the guards time to like do their routes like 6 times and then make it to where you're at.
But surely we have an unlimited amount of time to complete this heist.
No, there's only 5 minutes between junctions. So you definitely do not want to be on 3 times mode here.
Yeah.
So like this reminds me a lot of some of like I guess most of the marching part from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's that level of crappy.
No, because that didn't prompt you on screen with the buttons, and this does. This prompts you,
and you still failed it, Matt.
But I failed it before I like paid attention to it, and then when I did go back and actually pay attention, I did it on like the first try. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it takes too long to do the codes, and so I did fail once. I think basically, if the more you fail, the more it impacts your seed ranking.
When's the next time you get a seed assessment? Does it happen in real time?
Yeah, it does because I jumped from 3 to 4. Somewhere in here.
Yeah.
I went from 6 to 7, but I thought I did something very substantial. But
I think it's based on this, and you can also do tests in your tutorial menu. There are written tests.
Oh, I forgot about those.
And so don't do them after level 15. You only want to go up to level 15 because that's your max rank.
I saw John do some of these tests on stream.
I kept failing. I'm gonna have to look up the number.
John failed one like 4 times in a row. I was like, no, I kept like screaming, like, no, John, pick the other thing.
I don't know. I'm just gonna go look it up next time.
Yeah, John's like, well, I better.
And all the trivia is about.
Is it like the president of Galbadia is named blank?
No, it's like all about their stupid menu system. So it's like GF stands for great friend, and you're like yes or no. Wow. This symbol on the menu means this. No.
Yeah, it's not great. I think it's all true and false, right? It's the whole thing's true.
It's all yes, no questions.
Okay. I love it. Don't you love it when exams are true or false? I love it. I think Jim's telling us to speed it up.
Speed it up. We're coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah,
guys.
we
We're not
do
even
have
halfway
plans
to
for the rest of the evening as well. So
Okay.
I'm waiting. I just put fresh batteries in my Xbox controller. We have PUBG to play.
Producer Jim is telling us to go a little faster. So you do it. I did lose once and lost, I think I lost a seed point because I did fail it. But I will say these cutscenes, just like the satellite cutscene earlier, are very elaborate and very good looking. For 1998, those CG cutscenes look amazing. The trains are lovingly rendered. You do it. It keeps cutting to, and I think one of my favorite things in JRPGs is cutting to a guard you will never see again. And this guard is guarding the president and is very sad because the president keeps getting mad at him every time he has to come in and report that there's no problem. And the president's like, "You asshole, don't come in here to tell me there's no problems because I don't need to know that." And he's like, "But it's my job and I need to pay for my marriage."
He keeps assuming that he's losing a month's pay every time he upsets his superior or the president. I don't know what he's basing that on, but that's a very harsh punishment.
Well, you know what? Every time my boss is like, "Can you come up to my office? He always sends me a text saying, "Swing by your office before you go." And I always feel the same way. I think he just has anxiety.
Yeah, I used to have a supervisor who would send those messages and then say in parentheses, "It's nothing bad," which always made me think it was something bad.
I wish that mine would tell me it's nothing bad because I just always assume I've done something terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I'd be like, "I know it's nothing bad. What would it be?" It's like,
it's nothing bad. Psych, it's totally bad. So this reminds me of Final Fantasy IX and Rogue Galaxy, both having cuts to a guard that we never see again. But he is very upset because he thinks that this reduction, he's going to lose out payment. He won't pay for his honeymoon. His wife is going to leave him. He's going to be all alone. He won't be able to get her any gifts or go on a honeymoon or anything. He's going to have to make it a very toned down wedding. So that
you need better job protection. You need to unionize, it sounds like.
I think so. Then after they switch the car with the dummy car, the dummy yells at the guard, and the guard assumes he's in even more trouble, and his boss is mad at him too, who is also there. And everything works. They get the president's car, and they're like, "Okay, now we get to interview the president." And Zone's like, "But I got a tummy ache. I got a diarrhea in the bathroom.
I can't do it."
So he goes to deal with that, and then you can go with Rihanna to talk to the president, and Rihanna's like, "President, no one will get hurt if you do what we say." And then the president, how people talk in that SpongeBob meme where they capitalize the wrong letters and it's super creepy. Mm-hmm. That's how this president talks. He's like, "Oh, nothing bad is going to happen to me."
Yeah, this is a real if this was an anime, they would have spent a good minute or two on this guy's transformation while he's talking, because he turns into a big toxic undead ghoul.
It's pretty great. He's got a giant foot and a giant arm, and all his organs are falling out.
Yeah, and there's at least, one of these bosses in every Final Fantasy, the undead bosses that will take damage if you give them healing items.
That's the best. Mm-hmm. Nothing like a middle finger to this boss to just "Well, here's a Phoenix down, bye."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this one, I don't know, in Final Fantasy VII, you're fighting ghosts, so that one made more sense than this one. This one's just a random dude.
It's called a Garaguro.
Yeah, but he's just I don't know, a decoy guy.
No, I think he's some sort of corpse that's been altered to look like the president, and then to.
That's big time headcanon.
It talks to you, yeah. That's big time headcanon.
Well, definitely is a fake president.
And it's definitely undead because you can kill it with a Phoenix down.
He was fooling the soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, but when you first see him,
he looks like the president.
Yeah, because you first fight him, and I love that because the beginning of the battle is him looking like the president. You just well, of course, doing 2,000 damage to him in one hit because Matthew and I are breaking the game.
It's so funny. You just hit him one time and he goes, ah!
Yeah. This is a wonderful
and you can
fight.
draw zombie spells from him and things like that. He's a zombie. He's a corpse. What they found, and they're like, make up this corpse to look like the president, and then
Who talks to you?
What? Why is that the hang up? Why is that
Vanessa,
in this fantasy world?
Talks to you.
With flying monsters. And I'm not saying it's not a reanimated corpse.
It's magical.
Yeah.
So you go back on the train after killing the president's double. You learn that the president. What? Okay.
I'll tell you what happens. What happens is you're like, oh, the president knew that we were going to get the train. Like, he put out some fake information. He's very devious. But his real plan is actually to go to the television station.
Yeah, and after you beat the not president, you go back to your own train car, and like the timber folks have like a little huddle together, and the seed folks, like your player characters, are standing off to the side, and Squall is like, "Hey, can I are we done now?" Selfie's like, "Are we finished?" Mm-hmm. And Squall's like, "Can I see a copy of that contract?" And so Renoa hands it over, and they start reading it, and Renoa's like, yeah, this is a bunch of legal mumbo-jumbo. Did not understand it. Here, I had Sid make me a dumbed-down version, which I love the idea of, like, somebody writing someone just like this one's in crayon. But it basically says that this seed team is under Timber's employ until they are free of Galbadian influence in their country.
Wow.
So they're like, when is that going to be? Like, how long is that going to take?
Yeah, that's an insanely open-ended contract.
Yeah, that's a shitty contract.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, I did walk around the train car you're in, like the big planning train car, and I found there's actually something that tells you what's happening in this game. There are these posters you can read, and they are little excerpts of Anarchist Monthly, which I think is Renoa writing this. I think it's the Timber Owls or Forest Owls that write this, and there's way too much punctuation in it. But let me just read you Anarchist Monthly because it gives you some background in the game, and I'll go through this real fast.
Please do. Please do read it. Take your time. Mm-hmm. I don't mind.
Galbadia's dictator, President Vinzer Dealing Special. How does he stay in power? We reveal his darkest secrets. Second issue. President Dealing became the president after the Second Sorceress War ended. This is like some Clone Wars stuff where they just mention a war that happened. There's two of them. There's a sorceress. To gain support quickly, he carried out the invasion of Timber. It was only a ploy to decorate an already corrupt man's immoral career. Our land Timber was brutally destroyed. Here began Vinzer Dealing's road to dictatorship.
So he's Hitler.
Third issue. Basically. Or any dictator, you choose one. To imprison anti-government sympathizers, the D-District prison was built in the desert south of Dealing City. Millions were spent to build the facility. The threat of being sent to the prison intensified Dealing's unpopularity. The prison began imprisoning Galbadian anti-government sympathizers just as they did in Timber. Moreover, the leaders of the resistance movements faced the threat of having family members imprisoned as well. Around this time, Dealing began surrounding himself only with loyalists, which turned him into an even more fierce dictator. Huh. I've never seen that before.
This guy sounds terrible.
Final issue. With the exception of Esther, the Galbadian military possesses the world's only long-range missiles, except for the other country. Although never used in combat, their existence has become a worldwide threat. It is said the missiles have the ability to hit any target with astounding accuracy, even without using radio signals. Will the time come for the president to push the button? When the time comes, and then the rest is smudged out. So, yeah, there you get. So there's another country. You find out Vinzer Dealing's a dictator. Yeah, backstory.
The Sorceress Wars.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you decide to go back into town because you're going to go get to the TV station. They're going to do the first broadcast, and it's going to be the president doing it. And they do mention again that, oh, I thought radio broadcast didn't work, which you all said wasn't a thing in this game. And I'm like, no, there's something messed up about radio broadcast, and they keep talking about it. And once again, they say they've been having to use cables instead of radio broadcast because radio broadcasts don't work.
Yeah, they use HD cables for internet access, they say. And there's no like broadcast at all anymore. I actually thought that was pretty interesting because it's not that far off from kind of what things are like these days, right? Like...
Yeah, everything's
there are
on
still
demand.
broadcasts, but-
Everything's cable.
Well, they broadcast stuff, but it's over like Wi-Fi now.
Yeah, they're
not
running
radio
that
waves.
Wi-Fi signal everywhere. Actually, I have a couple of channels that occasionally will not work properly, and I think it's because they're like run over the internet in a way that the other ones aren't. It's weird.
Huh. Well, we actually have an antenna because my roommates watch hockey. That's the only thing they really watch on live TV. So there's still, it's still, there is still broadcast TV, but now it's digital, so you can fit a lot more channels and HD onto the same bandwidth. So that's what's going on now.
What teams do your roommates support, John?
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's what I was gonna say.
Way to humanize
Didn't know
them.
that.
Now I
but
like
was
them
That's
more.
the only hockey name I could think of.
Really?
Off the top of my head.
So you need to go back into town. You need to get to this TV station, and there, I think Watts is like, oh yeah, maybe go talk to this old lady. You can go like look out her window and see that you can get out through the back of this pub.
They're
And-
really into you looking out this window
Yeah, it's
instead of
weird.
just going
Yeah,
to the
everybody's
pub.
like, have you
Why
looked at that
does it
window?
make you do this? It's so weird.
You don't have to.
Oh, really?
You don't.
Because like, if you do it, this kid charges you, and then his mom beats the
Yeah,
shit out
that's-
of him.
Yeah, you watch her hit her
She like
child.
lightly spanks him.
But then he like does a headstand forever, which is like he's being emotionally
You
abused.
go into the room and they're like, yeah, this is the window that you can look out to see the alley. And you do it. And then the kid's like, that'll be 10 gil. And then his mom comes and she's like, what have I told you about charging people to look out the window?
And he's like, at least I'm not charging them 1,000 gil anymore.
It's a real Steve
It's
Urkel.
like, how many people are coming to look out this window? That
I
he
don't
like
Like
has a
know.
whole
you get,
business.
but like they mention this woman, because if you talk to her daughter, she's like, I hope to also have a husband someday, someone that I can scream at and trade blows with. so like that's the vibe in this house. Is this mom is just like combating
Yeah.
everyone.
And Sophie's
Yeah,
just
it's-
like, I guess she really likes to fight.
So there's two things to note here. One is there's random battles in the town, which is interesting. And two, the town is full of cats. Just everywhere.
Hang on.
There are kitties everywhere.
John, you just made a mistake because you said there are random battles in the town, but this game doesn't have random battles.
Not if you use the power of Andraste.
Is this the first part where you can get Renault? Yeah, she has to be in your party now, right?
Yeah, you can use Doggo and her stupid ability.
Yeah, so now, so I'm trying to like turn people into cards so I don't level up, but then like Doggo comes and Puff Strike happens, and you can go buy some extra pet magazines and learn more tricks
Yeah.
by walking around that levels up Doggo abilities. I love it.
I have to say, I was thrilled the minute I had the ability to get Zell the fuck out of my party.
Did you ever use Zell's Limit Break?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's
I use it all the
it
time
kinda,
because of
it
the power
sucks.
of Andraste, but it like interrupts the menu, which the other ones don't.
Yep.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
I set it to auto because I'm in 3 times. I'm usually 3 times, and you can't.
Yeah, because that timer goes
I'm
down
good.
way fast. So you need to get to the TV station. You can go through the pub as you saw through the window, and out the back. When you get to the pub, these two guards fight you. You get a card, and there's a drunk guy inside the pub, and he will not move unless you get him a sweet drink. And then the bartenders are like, okay, well, we have 2 labels of drinks. There's red labels and there's green labels. The red labels have mithril, gisel, and blarflul and those are sour. The green labels are, I forget, these are all the different types of chocobo.
You know what I did? I just gave him the card, and he's like, "Oh, thanks."
No, but Vanessa, it's a whole logic puzzle here.
I understand what it is. I gave him the card. He moved out of the way, and then he's like, "Oh, and you can keep the card." And I was like, "Thank God," because when that person started to tell me all the different drinks, and he only likes these drinks, and he's drinking a drink from a red label, and he doesn't like it. So which drinks will he like? I was just like, no.
Yes, I also gave him the card, and it is great. But yeah, there's like, I love that there's this like 5-page explanation of this logic puzzle that you have to solve, and you're like, I'll just give you this card.
Yeah, no. Nobody has time for that.
So you start walking the TV station, and there's a big like TV on the side of the TV station, and it has gibberish on it. But is it gibberish? It is not. It actually says stuff. You can make out phrases like, "I'm alive, bring me back there," and "I'll never let you forget me." Huh.
Yeah, and they're like, that's creepy.
No, but like the characters don't comment on what's on the screen.
They do. They say it's creepy.
They do. Yeah, they say it's creepy.
Yeah, they don't like say to talk about, "Oh man, why does it say like bring me back there?"
No, they don't say that.
Yeah.
But you can notice that it does
But
say...
it's showing up as like interference on the screen.
Yeah, it looks pretty creepy. And,
it does. It's pretty cool.
Then, okay, so this is weird. Renoa stops and is like, well, there's only 3 of you guys and me, and Zone has IBS, so he's not coming. We can't actually do this mission. We don't have enough people. And you're like, yeah, I think you're right. There's going to be a lot of army people there. And even though we kill them in one hit, it's going to be really hard.
You have the option as Squall to like be a jerk to her or be like nice to her. And I chose be a jerk at first, and then Selfie's like, that's a little harsh.
Yeah, I chose be a jerk, and the game is like, wow, dude.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I did that too, because I was like, look.
I think it gives you the option to be nice. It either gives you the option to be a jerk,
well, you can
or
be
to just
less
be like,
mean.
That's enough. But I chose that's enough, and she was still like, no, fuck you, say it! Like, it makes you do this.
Okay, yeah, I chose to be a jerk too, actually.
She does say that. She's like, oh, well, you started it. Why don't you finish it? And so you have to say the mean thing.
So, yeah, you say to her, hey, look, if you don't have the guts to do this, you just want to play act being resistant, and just do hashtags on Twitter. No. If you're going to be resistant, you're actually going to come here, and we're going to fight inside this TV station, and you have to learn that there's going to be prices to pay, and you got to double down and do it. And she's like, well, is this what you really think? And you can like keep going. And I'm like, oh, I have more to say, lady.
I was like, no, that's it.
No, I kept going. I was like, look, you are some rich girl who doesn't know what you're doing. What's wrong with you? And she's like,
she saw Antifa trending on Twitter, and she decided to be one too.
Wow.
Wow. And, at this moment, though, the broadcast starts, and it's the president. He's very excited to be on TV. He's like, I just wanted to talk to you about how this is the greatest country, how Galbadia is great to timber, and I know we have some issues between countries, so I've decided to make an alliance with our new ambassador. Her name is Sorceress. She did work for Jeffrey Epstein, but she's a great lady.
And he's like, I'm live. No one thought it could be done, but I'm live. I'm not pre-recorded. It's the most amazing thing. Nobody's ever heard of something like this. It's really cool.
And
my makeup is totally blended into my neck. My hair is not weirdly combed over. It's all totally fine.
Yeah. And if this show doesn't get the highest ratings ever, it's only because they cheated. They lied about what the ratings were, because everybody knows I got the most ratings of anyone.
And do you remember right after right after Galbadia invaded Timber, and then President Dealing went on to Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel like ruffled his hair.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh.
Oh, come on. That's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, sorry.
Jimmy
Fallon.
Kimmel's a little bit better than that. Not much, but a little bit.
He's worse.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Not anymore.
I mean, I every day I wake up, every morning I wake up and the first thought that pops into my head is both of the guys who hosted the Man Show have their own late night television program, and that's the world we live in. So
Adam Carolla doesn't.
don't tell me
was
that
on Love Line
cancel
for a long
culture
time,
is
wasn't
a
he?
thing.
They were, oh yeah, okay. What are we talking about?
Adam Carolla doesn't have his own late night show, doesn't he?
No.
I don't know. I hate
He
him
used
so
to,
much.
I mean, his
hate him.
podcast was at one point the pinnacle of the internet, and then he fell in with like Dennis Prager, and now he's like a weird vaccine denialist.
Jesus.
He is.
Anyway, so the president gets interrupted when Cypher Rage shows up.
Cypher
I'm thinking
Rage.
of Carson Daly. I'm confusing him with Adam Carolla.
What?
Look, I know.
Oh,
there's-
Carson Daly. I don't know if Carson Daly's thing is still around.
Carson Daly was like, he was on MTV forever. Everybody loved him.
Yeah, he had Late Night with Carson Daly, though, which was like the 11 p.m. Late night show on like NBC.
Oh, really?
Man, I wish I was Carson Daly. Like, that guy, he brought like the lowest energy he could possibly bring to everything he ever
Everybody loved him
did,
for
and
it,
he
though.
just succeeded.
Yeah.
Wildly.
Wasn't there-
One of the only times I watched that show, Late Night with Carson Daly, was when Nathan Rabin was interviewed on it.
Oh.
Do you ever watch the Paul Scheer playing Carson Daly in that weird weird he recreates word for word MTV
Human Giant? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's this on YouTube. Paul Scheer does these versions of real. What was that MTV show Carson Daly was on? Request
TRL.
TRL. Total
Yeah.
Request Live.
Yeah, he does recreations of TRL word for word with different actors playing all the celebrities. Go Google it. It's
That
amazing.
sounds amazing, actually.
It is really good. So Cypher shows up and Quistis is there trying to stop him because Cypher's takes the president hostage, holds his sword blade.
Y'all, this
Gun.
is important. I'm sorry. I know we're trying to get through this.
Gunblade?
But do you remember how TRL would do their countdown and they're like, and here's the number 5 most requested video, and they'd play a minute of it. They wouldn't play the whole video.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they'd be
that's a
like,
bummer.
that was it. And it's like, no, it wasn't.
I remember when Incubus was big, and they're like, here's Stellar by Incubus, and they played the intro, and it's like, excuse
That
me.
sucks.
That's not why I tuned into this.
Hey, I think it's also important to note, if you didn't, which maybe I missed it, but that the president says, did we talk about what the president says? He's like, oh,
that the sorceress is going to be the ambassador.
yeah. He's like, the
Yeah.
sorceress is going to be my ambassador. We all have these problems, and we all need to come together. And the sorceress, now it's interesting, I guess, that you mentioned that there are the sorceress wars. That's
Yeah,
Well, that's
That's
like
fun.
Donald Trump putting the Q shaman
exactly.
as ambassador.
So
well, except for we're about to learn that it's not, because there is a
Yeah, I guess that's true.
sorceress.
So
These people are actually magic.
So Cypher is holding the president hostage, and then we could help, but we can't. It's against our orders to. But then Quista shows up, and she's on TV. She's like, "You have permission to come help.
Yeah.
It's okay."
Timber team.
Yeah.
Timber team, come on in, and then
And this, here comes the best Zell moment of the whole game, I'm sure.
yeah. So you come in.
Can I
Cypher
do it? Can I do
is
it? I want to do it.
okay. Describe the whole situation.
Okay.
You're gonna do it all.
So you come in. Cypher has a sword, his gun blade, up to the president. And the president's like, who are you people? What is this? How dare you? And then Zell comes in and he's like, hi, Cypher. And Squall is like, what are you doing? And Zell's like, oh, hey, Quistis is here too. I guess you're going to take Cypher back to the Bellum Garden where he's from, because there's Cypher. That's Cypher there with the sword.
He's like,
And-
hey, we're all
we're all
Cypher.
here.
We're all
Here
from the
we
garden.
all are from the Bellum Garden. And then the president is like, oh, so you're from the Bellum Garden. And they're like,
And you're like, whoops.
whoops.
Did I do that?
Whoa.
Oh no!
And he's just like totally cash about it. He's like, oh, Quistis, I guess you're here to take Cypher home, huh? The president's like, interesting. Tell me more about that. Oh, yeah, Cypher, he's like this guy. He lives at Bellum Garden. He's 16 years old, and here's his phone number and his address. You can find him here. And he's in league with Quistis here, and also my name is Zell, this is Squall and Selfie, and we are here. We're working with the owls to like kidnap you and overthrow you. So what's up?
And the president's like, that's so interesting. I'm going to kill everyone you mentioned.
Yeah.
Right away.
And then Zell's like, whoopsie.
Wow. He needs a did I do that? He needs a catchphrase when he accidentally ruins everything. So then they go. Actually, Vanessa, I'm enjoying. Talk about what happens when Cypher moves the president to the next location.
Yeah, so Cypher's like,
'Cause
well, I'm just going to drag this here president right into the hallway. So he is like dragging him along. Squall is kind of following him, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what's up? And then the sorceress appears. And she just appears out of thin air in a corner.
This is a lady
she-
in a black dress with like a bird face. Red bird face.
Yeah. She has like a plague doctor mask on, but it's red. She
a fabulous outfit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say off the bat, I love her.
Flowing
Like,
black dress.
she is great. She shows up and she's like, hey,
You better hope and pray that you wake one day back in your own world.
John is of course referencing my hit video for I forget the name of the song.
Stay with me.
Stay with me, yes, and watch that for my cameo about 2 minutes in. So, she's like, "Hey, what's with this little boy? What are you doing, little boy? Like baby boy? Look at you, baby, with your president. You gonna play with your president like it's your binky, baby?" And he's like, "I'm not a baby. I'm a grown man." And she's like, "Yeah, you look like a little baby with your president, like playing kidnap." And so whatever, little baby boy. And he's like, "I'm not a little baby boy." And she's like, "Well, why don't you prove to me that you're not a little baby boy by letting the president go and coming with me?" And he's like, "Okay." And then he goes.
And as you can see, negging works.
Yep. It works wonders. She's like, "Oh, you lost your diaper?" And he's like,
Oh, I'm not a baby.
She's like, "A
So
real
I get the
man
sense-
would follow me and leave the president alone." He's like, "Oh, well,
She's
I'm
like
real
a-
man."
She's like a lady David Bowie in Labyrinth, I think. I think there's some kind of mesmerizing
Oh,
going
yeah.
on
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she's just very. I mean, in this scene, she's just being very manipulative.
I'm super into this female antagonist, by the way. This is
He's like, yeah, bully me some more, lady
I
in
like
black.
I mean, it's not Kuja, but it's not Sephiroth, who was actually kind of a boring douchebag.
Kuja is better because Kuja is wearing a thong.
Just like David Bowie in Labyrinth. Wait, that doesn't happen.
He doesn't wear a thong.
Yeah, but
wears
I
a
bet there's
cod
fan
piece.
out art there where he does.
Yeah, so she takes out her contact juggling balls and says, "Why don't you come with me through this portal, Cypher Rage?" So, everyone regroups at the old lady with the windows and the child abuse's house. And
Well, like, I don't have this in the notes, but she's of a different resistance faction.
yeah,
She's like the old head of the Fleet Foxes or something.
what?
It's like the something Foxes, isn't it?
Well, we're oh maybe yeah, because we're the Forest Owls and
We're
they're
the
Fleet-
Forest Owls, so she's like the something Foxes.
Okay. Everyone wonders why Cypher shows up. Renoa thinks it's because he wanted to help Renoa, and Quistis is like, yeah, he said he was going to come anyways, even though he wasn't on this mission, but I didn't believe him. But then he came, and so that's why I was following him, because I was trying to take care of my students, and he went bonkers.
Yeah, I bet she was trying to take care of him the same way she tried to take care of Squall at Make Out Point.
Well, is that why she followed Cypher all the way to Timber?
Mm-hmm. She's not a teacher anymore.
Anyway, time to come up with a plan. Quistis is like,
I'm 18, so my biological clock is ticking.
Article 8. You know what Article 8, line 7, the Garden Code says? And Squall actually, remember, well, because he is a good student and decides to be interactive and help out, says, oh, yeah, that does say, if you cannot return to your assigned garden, then you need to go to the nearest possible garden. So Quist is like, okay, so we are going to head to the forest west of the station and then go to Galbadia Garden. And so you have
more trains.
Mm-hmm. You have to go to this special station. You go as you're leaving town. You do run into Watts and you're like, oh no, a soldier. This is the worst time. They have 200 hit points. We are going to have a 30-second battle. But he's like, no, don't hurt me. I'm Watts. I'm dressed as a soldier. Stay hidden. And then that's a pretty good disguise. But when you get to the station, they say all the tickets are sold out. But there's an old man there who gives you tickets because it's actually Zone. He is, Jim, I think you'll like this, a master of disguise. So he gives you the tickets for the last train out of there, and then he was going to come with you, but doesn't because his stomach hurts, so he gives his ticket to Quistis.
He's dressed like an old man.
Yeah, it's a good disguise, too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
On the train, you can talk to Selfie, and she sings her wonderful song about being on a train, and you can talk to everyone else. They don't have a ton to say. You get off at East Academy Station.
To speak. He's like, mm-mm.
Well, Zell feels very bad because he thinks that he's going to have caused an attack on the garden, which he did because he's an idiot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's fine. I like that the game tells you have to get off at East Academy Station.
Yes,
don't miss it.
Don't go.
The one station, I think if you stay on the train, it goes to Dalit or something. And you'll lose a seed rank if you don't do it.
Oh, wow.
Not
you don't want
seed
that
rank.
That's kind of silly. This game, I don't know, punishes you for exploring a little bit.
Oh, no, because you can just get off at the train and walk around now. And
yeah, and
that's
we'll
what
fight 1,000 random battles trying to get from there to Dalit.
Then yeah. So you get off at the right place. You walk into a forest, and immediately it's sweepy time.
Oh, no.
Flashback time.
Uh-oh.
And Renault's like, what is happening? Why are you guys falling asleep?
Yeah, she's strangely unaffected.
Mm-hmm.
Your party passes out, but the two non-party members stay awake to be like, what?
And now you're back in Laguna time. Yay!
Yay. This whole fucking thing.
So this is basically like a dungeon with different characters, except your characters have all the abilities that are mapped to the ones you might have to move your GFs around.
Yeah, that's very confusing from an end game explainability standpoint, that all your junctioned stats stay the same between time flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's because the characters who are channeled in. Oh yeah, so it's not whoever's in your party. It's always going to be Selfie, Zell, and Squall. Because I didn't have any guardian or girlfriends equipped on Zell because who wants him in your party? He was out of my party, but so that meant that Kiros came in with no Guardian Force equipped, and I tried to get him to equip stuff, but I couldn't, and I couldn't transfer magic to him because just got really weird.
Yeah, and it launches right into a battle. It's very irritating.
Yeah.
So for the sake of brevity, let's just say that they are running away from these
if you're into the whole brevity thing,
from these enemy soldiers. I'm super into brevity. You go through a dungeon. There are some like switches you can hit and things, which apparently are very significant later, but don't really appear to do much right now. And
no, they do. Every time you do like one of these like things that you can do, it like kills some soldiers.
Yeah. Which I don't know if actually affects anything in the game, but it's pretty funny. And Laguna keeps picking up keys that no matter what he does, he picks them up and puts them into pockets, and they immediately fall out.
yeah, he picked up a key and he's like, I feel a breeze from behind. And then he like pats his pants and he's like, there's a hole in my pants.
And you get a second key, and he's like, okay, this time I'm putting it in my shirt pocket. Oh, God. No, he trips and it flies out. So yeah, you have to get both keys so you can get the best sword or magic or whatever in the game.
Do you?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I don't think I did, and I'm
glad
not
I was
going
looking
back.
at a guide.
Vanessa, I don't think you have to worry about it. When you make it out, you have to fight some Esther soldiers here. If you remember, they are the ones who also have long-range missiles, and the Esther soldiers are like, they look like Voldo from Soul Calibur.
They're sort of
reference it.
glowy
Yeah.
and interesting. I like them.
Yeah, and they're kind of doing like that. They're all like floppy and weird. I like them. So now they do attack you right when you get to this cliff, and at the end of the fight, they do a special like savage soul attack that does like severely injure Kuros and Ward.
And Ward seems to be maybe dying. He's like, I can't go on. And his voice is like fading out. And
He's got a neck injury.
Yeah. And Kyrus is like, I can't go on. And Laguna like looks over the edge of the cliff and there are little boats down there. And he's like, we sure can go on. We're going to live. And he takes both of them and he just yeets them right off the cliff. Like, yeet, yeet. And then he decides to jump as well. But with no one to yeet him, he just kind of hits the cliff on the whole way down, is my impression.
Yeah.
He like shimmies. He tries to shimmy off to the side, which is the worst
And
thing
then
you
he
can
falls.
do in that situation.
It's great. I've been playing more Borderlands 3, which I've got further than I ever got before, and the writing. You meet some good characters and the game gets better, but I just wanted to mention that because there's a gun that if you throw it becomes explosive and has a voice, and when you throw it, sometimes it'll say yeet, and I love it.
Yay!
It reminds me of Vanessa.
I heard there's a gun that sounds like a character from Borderlands 2.
I believe there is.
You heard it here first. It's your Borderlands report.
There, and in pre-sequel, you can play as sort of the character from that certain character from Borderlands 2.
Yep. And after they have yeeted, we cut back to the forest. They're like, oh, we fell asleep again. Well, what are you going to do? And carry on their merry way. And you arrive at the next garden. The end.
Well, I just want to say, though, like you arrive at the garden, there's a cutscene of the students flying in hover chairs, and I'm immediately jealous. Don't you hate it when you go to like when you're in high school and you go to another high school and it's so much better than yours?
You're like, they have hover chairs, man.
I went to a garbage high school. It didn't have hover chairs at all.
At all. Well, that's it for this chunker.
I did, because Vanessa scolded me so hard last time, I did do the card game and the
you did. I
rules.
watched you on stream.
I played that card game for hours. I somehow like the card game, which I feel...
When I kept watching you lose, it's like, I wanted to scream at the screen again, watching you play this card game, because a lot of the times you just put a really good card in the opposite place where it needed to be.
You shut up!
I wanted to be like, what are you doing?
I did. I got like a super special card from this guy in Dolet, and he like let me into his little lair where he like showed me all his magazines. He's like, "Hey kids, why don't you come back to my back room where I've got this pile of magazines?" You might like.
Have we explained Triple Triad yet?
I think it's okay.
Well, like
it's not bad.
so
Once
like
you get some good cards.
Each card has like a kind of a north, south, east, west value on it, like a numerical value. So whatever card, or I guess whatever side that card matches up against, you'll go value to value with the other card that's like in the conflicting direction. So.
Unless there's elements, which if your element matches, does boost your card value, or if it doesn't match, reduces.
The element thing is confusing to me. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to get in triple triad.
Yeah, there are all kinds of weird rules.
It's like,
and like if you play a card, like if there's a card out and it has a 5 on its east side, and you play a 4 against it, you don't lose anything. Like it just sits there. So it's like the battle only goes one way, right?
A rule that changes that, though. And each city has its own set of rules. And as you go from city to city, you bring your rules to theirs. And then they also mix, and that can go to the city you came from. And there's a rule called random, which I think randomly selects cards out of your deck instead of you choosing at the beginning. And that rule is terrible. And so this guide that I've been following made me like spend an hour getting rid of it. So, yeah, there's a lot of different, like, I haven't seen all the variants yet because each town has a different variant on it. So I think there might be one where it like, you do lose if you put your card against a card with a higher value. But I'm not sure.
So, this is as far as I've played into the game. Where should we play to next time?
Oh, end of disc 1 for sure.
Oh, and so, but like, where is that? Because a lot of our listeners are going to be playing the remaster.
Let me tell you, I believe it's a very exciting scene. I think
it is a very exciting scene.
I think someone gets, like, it looks like someone gets killed.
Someone
like a
gets
main character.
Impaled, and then you cut away from that whole situation. So it should be pretty clear.
Cliffhanger.
So,
yeah. Let me see.
We will play to switching to Laguna again. Why don't we put it that way?
So before the next Laguna flashback?
Yeah, like we'll play until you become Laguna.
Mm-hmm. And someone's driving a car, and it's very exciting.
Well, don't give away everything, Johnny.
All right. But yeah, you'll definitely see. It's a very climactic and interesting moment. I think the game also gives you an opportunity to save.
It does.
Like, it'll be
it's like, do you want to save your game? So play to the screen that says, do you want to save your game?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a very, I love that.
Johnny, calm down about it. We'll talk about it next week.
It's so good.
On Square Roots.
Wow, look at John gushing about Final Fantasy VIII.
He's like losing his mind.
I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I said this was going to happen.
Yeah, Matt did call it.
All right, so guys, before we wrap up, let's talk about what we're squarely against. I will go first. I'm still very roundly for this game. I'm finding it very fun to play. I feel like I have an understanding of the mechanics, not maybe to the extent that Matthew and John do with their like next level game breaking, but
I just followed a fucking guide. I don't know what's going on.
I feel like I
game.
understand the menus and how things work well enough to exploit it, but I haven't really put the energy into all that yet.
Jim, I see the game code now, and like, yeah,
John is the Neo of Final Fantasy VIII, but I'm the Cipher. Oh, see, there's a cipher in Final Fantasy VIII.
Not like this.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun enough. I understand it, but I don't necessarily want to be a part of it all the time. So
honestly, I'll say for the whole thing, it did not take much time. Like, it's not a lot.
No.
It's just kind of knowing. It just takes, like, I put it off for a week because I was like, feels like doing homework.
You did call it homework just yesterday.
And it was worth it because one hit bosses. It's fun.
So, Matt, how does that translate into what you're squarely against?
Here's the thing about this whole system is that it sucks. It's not good. It's very, like, anti-Final Fantasy, and it's fun that we can exploit it, and it makes me like this game more, so I'm roundly for it. But I'm also squarely against it. What do you think, John?
Well, I was going to say the exact same thing that you said. So let's say I am roundly for the sorceress. Shantae, you stay. I don't know what her deal is, but she came in, negged Cypher, and left with him, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So roundly for her. What about you, Vanessa?
I'm also roundly for the sorceress. It's really nice to see yourself reflected in media, and I think she's great.
All right.
That's it.
Well, that will do it for this episode of Square Roots. So we do have a Patreon. We have lots of sweet bonus content on there. As I mentioned before, we have the instant classics. We have some level up episodes. We have Square Roots Versus. All of that is available at the $3 Patreon level. At the $5 level, you get to vote on games we do for mainline Square Roots episodes.
And there's a vote starting today.
Yep, we have a vote starting today. I don't know the games that are on there yet because we haven't created the poll yet.
I know.
But it will be there by the time the episode releases.
You said that we should start it a couple episodes in, right? Or maybe next episode.
No, I think we should start at this one. We'll just decide on the games like tonight or tomorrow.
I'll post it on Monday.
We talked about it so many times.
Yeah, we have. We totally talked about it, Matt.
I'm not saying we didn't talk about it, but we have not decided.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we hadn't landed on anyone but John who did the poll for his game.
Jim said he was going to vote Kingdom Hearts 2. I said I was going to vote Deus Ex. John is voting whatever John decided on with his poll. I think Fallout New Vegas. And Matt is passing.
You can't pass.
I'm not passing.
Well, then you better come up with a game quick.
I refuse to be put on the spot.
All right. Well, you know what? TBD on the poll. But with $5, you can vote on whatever games we put out there to vote on for our mainline Square Root series. Another benefit of being a patron is at whatever level you decide to help us out, we will read your Patreon username on the air. I will kick us off this week with Amanda Douglas and Jameson, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Kevin Walter, Matt Jorgensen, L'Oreal of the Claire, Robert T., the ghost of Johnny's murdered Fable husbands, Stephen Paget, Rubber Bear, Joshua W. Broxson, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Robert J. Defendi, PJ Enns, Ricky Barty, Chris Wilder, Sergeant Spaghetti, Chris Penyak, Stu Skeel, Simon Mitchell, Christian Go, Aaron Bachman, Andy Best, David Green, Justin Ham, Chris Ryan, GF Junction, What's Your Function, Tyler Petty, Jordan McNeil, insert clever name here, Wedge Coon, Cameron Shoei, Bree Girth, oops, I forgot to update my name for Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is great, and I love it more than I love doing Square Roots.
I'd like to thank Listen Up, Scoot Stains, Eric Garby, Tom, Andy Smith, Ryan Miller, Nathan Poirot, Ron, Jack Mazzell, Randy P. Fable is great, but so is Threads of Fate, played in 2021, or The Cuzzle will drizzle gallons and gallons all over the Scoots. Justin Rash, Fresh Eyes, Ari Corpivara, Jonathan Ellsworth, Citrus C, Matt, Squalls of Wiener Newland, Mostly Rational Person, Miguel Torres, Nick, OMG, what is this game? My roommate was eaten by a T-Rexor, Andy M, Ward Childress, Robert M. Pullum, Still Just Cow is a Zell stand, Don't At Me, Vanessa's actual mom, WWE Mike G, hails Michael Crawford, Devin Sloan. Vanessa's mom says, play Final Fantasy VIII, it is your fate. Arthur A, Levity Moore versus Kinky, Sam Elliott, and Race Jenkins.
I would like to thank Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Aaron J.L. O'Toole. Cat Wars, Episode Knives, The Empty Fur Scratches Back. Go Cry Wolf, Jim's disturbingly attractive Asari girlfriend. I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store on the garden. Sean Walsh, Hexagon, was expelled for junctioning with their GF in the library. Alexander Jokic, Sean, Karma, meteor. It comes and goes, it comes and blows, it's all up. Wah wah wee wah. That's the iguana.
Wah wah wee wah.
Cyril the wolf. Whatever. The RPG Luminary is definitely not a chicken wuss. Christopher Highness, Hand I Will Always Cuddle You. Andrew Leinart, Gage Lasharite. Ross Disney, Triple Triad Tryhard. Dylan Rowe, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name. CharityWater.org. Welcome to Cute Boy Jail. Honk honk. Adam Zimmerman. George Brady, Dan, Vanessa's Gold, Taco Bell, PS5, Jake Dickerson, Balam, formerly Moo Cow, Nam Neetool,
Gunblading Sid, Hat Ben, the Ben with the hat, more like Final Fantasy Great, Cassandra, Soy Soda Pop, Sean Gonzalez, Wash in the Wind, Sabra Delta, Joshua Bennett, Brian Pitt, you're the best looking guy here, Lauren Prince, Vanessa's Renegade Cheese Plate, Grayson, Hudson Roth, Aiden Marriott, Jason Timms, Paul Bursch, I have no memory of this game, DeJethro, Isaac Wright, Joseph, with all the GFs you bond with, does Final Fantasy VIII count as a dating sim? Grey Code, Arm & Hammer, Ethan G. Pearson, Chief Hazard built a Guiwa team that has the hongies for everyone else. Noah Offord, Tracy, Ross Hartley, Florian Jonas Kramer, Robot in Greece, William Westgard, and I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain. Tracy, I don't think that she's going to take you up on that. It's been a while.
Summer loving.
It has been a while.
Having a blast.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. Our email address, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Our Twitter, @SquareRootsPod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everyone. For Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
Vanessa.
Bye.
I have to pull up my last time. I was thinking about the question that John posed to me.
Vanessa muted herself.
I did
if
not
she is
mute
saying something.
myself.
She did herself. Why did she do that?
I did?
Because she's too busy imagining Paul Bethany.
I'm back. I muted myself. I was too busy thinking about the question John posed to me, which is Paul Bettany a gentle kisser? Now it's time
What was
for
the
me
result?
to...
She exploded like the chicken lady.
Yeah. I gotta get laid.
Matt is taking beers out of his backpack. Like he snuck them into the concert that is his bedroom.
Matt promised that he was going to have a water in between his last drink and his next
did not,
drink.
excuse me. I did not promise.
That's true. You just said that you were going to, and I took you at your word, which was really my mistake.
Well, guess what's closer? Water or backpack full of beer?
Is it the backpack full of beer?
Right
Is
here?
there any melted ice water hanging off the bottom of that backpack you can take a swig
Yeah.
of?
Because it's a cooler backpack. Because I'm an adult.
Just so listeners are aware, Matt is in his home. So why he has a backpack full of beer, like just hanging around his house, you'll have to figure that out on your own.
Also, Muncher. Have you seen Muncher?
Is Muncher...
Who?
Have you guys seen Muncher? You guys haven't seen Muncher?
Is Muncher Slimer?
Into the
So
misogynistic
Muncher
pop culture
is the
Slimer, Jim.
Muncher is the Slimer of the new Ghostbusters. You guys haven't seen Muncher? You
His
need
name
to
is
Google Muncher
Slimer.
right now. Muncher's a new ghost that's
Okay,
designed to be the
fine,
new
Jim.
Slimer.
Now, is that one of
Before the
Scooby-Doo's
show,
13
Muncher
Ghosts?
Ghostbusters.
No, this is the
Did Vincent
Muncher.
D'Onofrio have a great
It's
intro
just-
about the 13
well,
ghosts getting away and one
Is
of them
there a
is
video
Muncher?
of him?
I don't know if there's a video. I just
Okay.
know Muncher.
What am I supposed to Google? Ghost Muncher?
Google Muncher Ghostbusters.
I Googled Ghost Muncher.
He just
That's
looks like Slimer,
not
but
it.
he's blue, and also looks like one of those.
He's
What are
like
those?
a morbidly obese blue Slimer.
I am not.
You don't have to body shame Muncher, Jim.
He doesn't look healthy, John.
I feel
He's dead.
I am seeing things in Muncher that I think that you gentlemen aren't. Just the sort of shape of the top of his head there,
What the fuck?
combined with
He looks
Like-
miserable.
That's not.
He looks. What are
From
the
a
names of
movie.
the? He looks like a tardigrade.
What did
Vanessa. What are you
just
talking
send us?
about?
That's not something from a movie that's coming out.
That's Muncher.
No,
it
it's
looks
not.
like
Muncher.
it's a model. It's like a model that they used to.
Well, yeah, the movie hasn't come out yet, guys. The movie hasn't come out yet.
This is what
Vanessa,
the movie's going to look like.
saying?
I got questions.
Are you saying Muncher is not circumcised?
Oh my
Saying that
god!
Muncher's
No,
not
like Muncher. People know about Muncher because Muncher.
Penis-shaped.
Muncher
Look at the
is
mushroom shape of from the top of his head to the circly round of his cheeks. That is straight up. His face is just the tip of a dick.
Yeah.
Well, they want Muncher. Like Muncher is their like. This is
And
merch,
his name
guys.
is Muncher.
Muncher is short for merch. So like this is like the ghost is getting all the tie-ins for Ghostbusters. So like there's lots of art about it around. So this is sneak preview of Ghostbusters coming out in 2022.
Jim has caught Muncher mania.
I don't think this is real.
I saw Muncher online and I was like, I like Muncher.
This is not a real thing.
I'm a Muncher head. Muncher is real.
This is a fucking picture from like a 2001 video game. This is like a Doom
It looks like
minion.
a Tim and Eric like character, but a Muncher is a thing they wanted to put in an actual blockbuster summer tentpole film.
Jim played the long game on that and it paid off. We're going on so long that John has stormed off.
John's in a rage.
His official name is Muncher.
His official name is Doggo.
Oh, Jim. Also, the reason I stormed off was because I searched Muncher on YouTube and then got a video that was, I think, an angry alt-right guy saying how bad Muncher is. And I bet now when I go onto YouTube, all my suggestions are going to be like, women are ruining Ghostbusters.
Oh, no, you ruined your YouTube algorithm.
Muncher is ruining Ghostbusters.
Muncher's a feminazi.
Yeah, SJW.
Muncher's just another example of producers caving to SJW pressure. Putting diversity in their movies for no reason. Why is this character female? It could have been a male character.
Why is she better than me?
Why won't Muncher answer my DMs?
It's unbelievable that a woman would just be good at the Force.